Hey, wait, where are you going with all them matches?
Well, out to the launching pad.
The what?
The launching pad. I promised Jethro I'd light his rockets first.
Wait a minute.
Well, I can't, Paul. Jethro's in his countdown, ready to be shot into space. Where you going, Jed?
I'm going out to get Jethro.
Well, before you go, I got something to tell you.
Well, Jack, Granny, this is kind of important.
Now, so is this. Jethro has turned over a new leaf. No more putting windmills on the truck and trying to fly and such foolishness.
Yeah, Granny, I'm afraid this kind of...
Now, listen to me, kid. I don't often get a chance to speak good of Jethro. But he was up at the crack of dawn this morning plucking chickens for me.
Yeah, well...
He plucked 27 chickens. I got him in the icebox in the freezer.
I'll see you.
T-minus 20 seconds. Light the matches. T-minus 15 seconds. Light the skyrockets. T-minus 10 seconds and count.
Jethro.
Talk to you when I get back down, Uncle Jed. 8, 7.
Well, how you going to get back down?
Glide on these wings.
They work?
Well, I hope so. 5, 4.
Well, I'm glad to see you wearing a parachute.
What parachute? This is my lunch. 2, 1, 0. Blast off! Doggone it, I must have had a power failure.
Yeah, now, step down, boy. I want to talk to you.
It took 27 chickens to make them wings.
Yeah, I know. Ellie Mae, honey, take them matches back up to the house and help your granny. I want to have a talk with Jethro. Sit down, boy.
Want some lunch, Uncle Jed?
No, thanks.
Thought you said you didn't want none.
Boy, how were you going to eat all that stuff up there in the air wearing them wings?
Well, I'd have figured that out. I got an awful quick mind. But that's one reason why I was cut out to be an astronaut.
You got another reason?
Heck yeah, lots of them. Uncle Jed, this country's in what you call a space race. And spells like me that's going to win it.
Well, ain't no finer reason than doing it for your country.
Yeah, it's mostly for my country, but there's something in it for me, too.
Like what?
Like glory. Them astronauts gets a hog trough full of glory.
I see.
President calls them on the phone, gets put on television, pictures in the paper, ticker tape parade, big hug and a kiss by your wife.
You ain't got no wife.
I know. I'm gonna be the first single fella to get all that glory. Them girls gonna be hanging around me thicker than cats at a fish fry, scrapping with one another. See who gets to hug me first. Strap them rockets on me. I want to get up in space and back down quick.
Now, hold on there, boy.
What for?
It seems to me you got a little more planning to do.
Heck no. I'm ready. Quicker I go, quicker I commence getting that glory.
Well, that's just it. You do it like this, and you're going to miss it.
What you mean?
Well, who's going to know you've been up in space besides Ellie and me and whoever you hit when you come down?
Yeah, I see. Maybe I ought to have more of that, what you call a publicity, a newspapers, television and all, huh?
That's right. This is a big, important thing. Don't forget, there's been 27 chickens done laid down their lives.
Yeah.
Let's talk this over with somebody like Miss Jean. Don't forget, she's awful smart about such things.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Clampett, but Miss Hathaway is no longer here. Yes, she quit, walked out, deserted me.
Mr. Drysdale, you fired her.
Out! Yes, Mr. Clampett, it was a cruel blow to me. After all I've done for that girl, she left me high and dry.
Is that a fact? Well, now, if there's anything we can do to help you, just let us know.
Thank you, thank you. It means a lot to know that someone is still loyal to me. Meanwhile, I'll struggle on alone. Goodbye.
Mr. Mr. Drysdale?
Oh, listen, Miss Murray, get Miss Hathaway on the phone. Plead with her. Beg her, promise her anything, only get her to come back. I need her. She's my right arm.
That's what I started to tell you. She just walked in.
Oh? Came crawling back, did she? Not so fast.
You think you can just walk in here and plunk yourself down at your old desk, eh? Well, I've got news for you. I might not take you back.
I've got news for you. I'm not coming back.
Huh?
I simply dropped by to clean out my desk. Goodbye.
Wait, can't you tell when I'm joking? Where's your sense of humor? Now, come on, sit down and go to work. And I won't even dock you for the half day you missed.
Mr. Drysdale, I was unjustly accused of neglecting my duty, summarily discharged, and replaced without even a chance to defend myself.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I think perhaps this has all happened for the best. I have always wanted to pursue a career as a folk singer, and now I shall.
You a singer? Now, wait a minute. I think you're great. Didn't you hear me applaud?
I heard you laugh.
Well, that's because I'm happy. Now, I've got a great idea. You can give folk singing concerts right here at the bank.
Oh, really?
Yes, every Friday after work, we'll herd all the employees into the basement, and we won't let them go home until they listen to you sing. Wait, Miss Hathaway. If you'll stay, I'll give you a $5 raise, effective immediately.
I presume you mean $5 a month.
No, I mean $5 a year. No, wait a minute, listen. That can add up. 50 years, that's $250. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Clammett. Yes, I'm still very upset about Miss Hathaway.
Well, cheer up. I got good news. Ellie Mae is coming down as secretary for you.
Ellie Mae, well, I'm not sure she can handle it.
Don't worry. If she can't, Granny will pitch in with her. Bye.
Miss Hathaway, wait! I'll make that raise $750 a year.
Well, Miss Jane, come in.
Thank you, Mr. Clampett.
I see you toting the guitar.
Yes, I am no longer working at the Commerce Bank.
Yeah, Mr. Drysdale told me about that. He's right upset with you.
He's upset with me?
Downright grudgeful.
Well, I should like to say that Mr. Melvin Drysdale is a vindictive, avaricious despot.
Well, I'm glad to see you got no hard feelings against him. Makes me feel better about the whole thing.
Me too. Oh, by the way, are Mr. Flatt and Mr. Scruggs about?
Well, no, Miss Jane. They left for home for Nashville this morning.
Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping to play some of the songs I'd worked up for my act.
Well, you're in earnest about this singing business, ain't you?
Oh, yes, indeed, Mr. Clampett. It has long been my secret ambition to interpret the folk music of our land. Onga-dinga-die, oh, sand upon the mountain, frogs and fiddle jumpers sing to the moon. Briss, bros, bottle, bio, arcano, ickle, bickle, doo.
Not a call for that, is it?
Oh, yes, indeed. Folk singers are all the rage today. Some of them become public idols. Personally, of course, I am not interested in the glory.
There's glory in it, huh?
For those who reach the top.
Tell me, Miss Jane, do you reckon Jethro could plow any kind of a rut at all with that folk singing?
Jethro? I didn't know he was interested.
Well, I'm kind of hoping he might be. You see, here lately, he's been fooling around with...
Dog, my publicity getter's here. Howdy, Miss Jane. Sure, I'm glad to see you.
Thank you, Jethro.
I stopped off at the television station to show them my stuff, and they treated me like I was some kind of a nut.
Oh, you took Ellie to the bank first.
Heck yeah. I was glad to get rid of her and her critters. Miss Jane...
Critters?
Yeah, she took along a whole mess of them just so she wouldn't be lonesome. Miss Jane...
Well, boy, how did that set with Mr. Drysdale?
I don't know. I dropped Ellie and the whole mess off out front.
I better give him a call. Excuse me. Oh, boy, Miss Jane's got an idea for you.
Are you going to help me get some of that glory?
Well, frankly, it depends upon how well you can sing.
Sing?
And hopefully accompany yourself on the guitar.
I'm gonna have a hard enough time just eating lunch. Didn't Uncle Jed tell you? I'm gonna be wearing these here wings when I get up there. Flapping and swooping around.
Jethro, you don't need a gimmick like this.
Well, I'm gonna need something when these skyrockets burn out.
You're trying to fire rockets?
Well, yeah. Oh, just to get me started. Now, spread these here wings.
Jethro, dear boy, these are just cheap attention getters. If you have talent, you don't need them.
I don't.
Not at all. Oh, it may take you a little longer to reach the top, but when you hit, you'll be a much bigger smash.
Mr. Drydale? Oh, this is Jed Clampett. I just wanted to make sure Ellie's critters wasn't being a nuisance to you.
Oh, no, not at all. I love the little thing. Lots of company.
Plenty more around here if you want them. Not right now. The goat had just had some what? Negotiable security. Wow. She's hard to please. You're lucky you found something she likes right off.
Mr. Clampett, come quickly. Jethro says he's going to rocket himself into space. He's on his way to the launching pad now for the countdown.
Talk to you later, Mr. Drysdale.
Well, so long, Granny. T-minus 10 seconds and count.
What are you doing on my table?
8, 7, 6,
Get on
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off!
Where'd he go?
Ain't that pretty?
I wish it was night.
I think the boys headed back, Granny.
Yeah, he'll be here in plenty of time for supper. Must be what he calls a splashdown.
How you feel, boy?
Miserable! That just ruined my lunch!
Ed, we gotta put a stop to that astronaut foolishness. Look how them rockets scorch Jethro's paint.
Well, Miss Jane is fixing to get him off on another track, Granny. The boy's just looking for a quick way to glory.
Well, if he ever comes down and misses that water, he's found it.
Where's Jethro?
Out drying off by my kittle fire. He'll be in directly.
Miss Jane, how would you like to stay and take supper with us? We're going to have stewed chicken.
He's gonna have chicken soup, and not much of that.
How come?
While he was drying, old Gobblejaw's done some snacking.
Well, I reckon flapping them wings around up there must have given him an appetite.
I can't believe that Jethro would actually rocket himself into the air and expect to fly.
That's all he can think about anymore. Ain't nothing in his head but space.
You can say that again.
Well, I didn't mean for it to come out the way it did. What I meant was the boy... I believe I let it stand.
Well, all dry now. Ooh, Miss Jane, I didn't know there was women here.
I'll go get you some other pants.
Meanwhile, Jethro, let me urge you again to take up the guitar and
Well, forget it, Miss Jane. My next trip, I ain't taking up nothing but a parachute. Uncle Jed, I was so busy up there, I didn't even have a chance to eat.
How about that next trip? We don't want you making it.
Oh, I got to, Uncle Jed. I sure didn't get no glory out of this one.
Well, I think Miss Jean has got an idea for you that beats astronauting.
Yes, Jethro, I have hopes of your becoming a folk singer.
A folk singer?
They get a heap of glory.
Yes, picture yourself performing on the stage, appearing on television, in nightclubs, making records, the idol of thousands of fans.
Mostly girls.
Really?
You're a star.
All right, I'll be one.
Yes, well, of course, first there is the little matter of,
Look who's here.
Howdy, Mr. Drydale.
Howdy.
Hello, Miss Hathaway.
Hey, I'm gonna be a star.
Yeah, the boy's going on television and everything.
Jethro?
Hey, Granny, give me my pants.
Oh, that's a great act. The boy's got a lot of talent. Miss Hathaway.
Are you fixing to stay for supper, Mr. Drysdale?
Wait, don't ask him till I see if the human silo left any soup.
Miss Hathaway, please come back to the bank.
What's the matter? Ain't Ellie doing a good job?
Oh, yes, wonderful, but I need Miss Hathaway, too.
Sorry, Chief. That is ex-chief. But I have an appointment to audition for a theatrical agent.
Oh, please.
Well, now, don't fret, Mr. Drysdale. Like I said, Granny'd be glad to pitch in and help.
That's all I need.
Well, that's settled then.
Uncle Jed, can I borrow your Corton guitar?
Well, sure, boy. Miss Jean's going to audition for her agent. You can go along.
Well, let's go.
Just a moment. Jethro, you'll need preparation first. I'll talk to the agent about you. Meanwhile, practice. Bye.
No, wait!
I checked the chicken pot, Mr. Drysdale. There's plenty of soup. You can stay for supper.
No, I can't. I need you at the bank.
Well, then I better change. Where's he going?
Well, I reckon he couldn't wait. Jethro'll drive you down.
Oh, Miss Jane says I got to practice.
Practice what?
Folk singing. I'm going to be a star.
Him?
Well, Miss Jean thinks he can sing in front of a big audience. Sure be a lot safer than astronauting.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Everything's in a mess since Miss Hathaway left.
So I see.
Just can't find a replacement.
Where have you been looking? Gilbert, you have a reputation for hiring cheap help. But isn't that overdoing it?
Oh, that's Bessie. She belongs to... Now, come into my office and I'll explain everything while you sign the contract.
No, thanks. If she typed it, I don't even want to read it. I'm going to start doing business with John Cushing. At least he hires high school kids.
Ellie Mae!
Ellie Mae, that goat eats securities. I told you to get her out of here.
Well, I did, Mr. Drysdale. I put her down in the vault, and now she's sick from eating too much money.
I'll just be a moment. And I assure you I'll give a much better performance with my own guitar.
Miss Hathaway, I think it's going to take a little more than your own guitar. Can't you come up with some kind of a gimmick?
Mr. Sherman, I am a singer of pure ethnic folk songs.
Well, right now, they're selling about as fast as used Edsels.
Hey, Miss Jane!
Oh, dear, I'm afraid this young man is going to want to audition for you.
What does he play, the electric wheelbarrow?
Wait till you hear this rascal, Miss Jane.
Oh, Jethro Bodine, Kingsley Sherman.
Oh, howdy.
Hi. Where'd you get that?
I made it myself. Kept busting the strings on my Uncle Jed's guitar, so I invented it. I call it the Bodinophone.
What does it sound like?
Don't know. Ain't plugged it in yet. Come on inside and we'll try it out.
You wait right here. I'll get my guitar and we'll return to your office.
Are you kidding? This may be just the gimmick we're looking for.
You can't be serious.
Listen, the #1 record today is a guy playing an electrified garden rake while his wife sings with her head in a rain barrel. I got it. Why don't you two work together? Teams are very hot right now. There's Sonny and Cher, Horace and Mabel, Mommy and Dad. Those are the ones with the garden rake hit. Maybe you heard of it. Claire de Lune.
Mr. Sherman, I refuse to be a part of any such travesty on music.
Well, if your style of singing ever comes back, I'll get in touch with you at the bank.
All set, Mr. Sherman. Got her plugged in.
Okay, kid, let's hear it.
Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling.
Oh, this guy is dynamite. If you two team up, you'll be bigger than Sonny and Cher. All you need is wigs and some goopy clothes.
Turn me off! Formulas! Got the juice!
He's even got a hit song.
Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. The fella from the record company is here. He wants to hear you two do your number again.
Uncle Jed, I ain't playing that bodina phone no more. I'm so full of electricity, I could spit sparks.
Hot dog and Miss Jane, that sure leaves you in a spot.
Yes, it does. If the team of Jane and Jethro breaks up, it means losing all this. I'm going back to work for that martinet, Mr. Drysdale.
Well, you better work fast. Half your team is fixing to shoot itself into space.
Yes, excuse me.
Miss Jane, ain't you going to stop him?
Stop him? I'm going to light his fuse.
Bye, Jen.
I told Jethro to do that.
I know you did, Granny, but he...
Cut me a hickory stick. I'll learn him to shirk his chores.
Granny, he done all the other work you give him.
Then I'll give him some more. Where is he?
Well, he was feeling kind of restless, so he took a little trip into town.
Well, when he gets back, he's going to take a little trip to the woodshed.
Now, Granny, it ain't that bad. If a little drive down to the drugstore will get the birds out of his britches, what's the harm?
Because he's turning into a drugstore dude, that's the harm. Laid in bed till 6 o'clock this morning.
I don't hardly think that makes him a drugstore dude.
Hanging around the drugstore does. What's he want there anyway?
Well, just between us, I think he's hoping to meet up with some members of the opposite sex.
Jethro, he don't even know what sex he's opposite.
Now, Granny, a boy has got to do a certain amount of girl watching. Once he gets it out of his system, he's ready to come back and pitch in.
Who's that?
I don't know, but he sure is in an awful hurry.
It's Jethro.
Ain't she a beauty? Wait till the girls see me driving around in this.
Where'd you get it?
I got it at what you call a used car lot. Salesman says it's a real girl trap.
What'd you do with the truck?
I traded it for this.
What? You traded your ma's fine big truck for this little squash-down thing?
Uncle Jed, this here is a $7,000 imported sports car.
How much I give you to boot?
Give me nothing. I owe them $7,000.
With the truck?
Well, heck no, I forgot. With the truck, I owe them $7,025.
Jethro, you take this thing back where you got it and fetch home the truck.
Oh, Uncle Jed, girls don't go for that truck. But with this baby, I can get me some action.
You get out to the woodshed. I'll give you some action. Get out.
Granny, I need some swinging action. I want to be where things are jumping.
Don't you worry. I'll be swinging and you'll be jumping. Now get
Boy, you better get underway before you and the truck both gets hauled away.
Oh, gee, y'all treat me like I'm a kid. I'm a graduate of the 6th grade.
There's what too much education has done. Trapped in city living.
Now, Granny.
What he needs is work. Work and more work. Chores from sun up till sundown. That'll keep his mind off the girls.
Excuse me, Chief. Here are your files on the Mammoth Picture Studios.
What for?
Why, you're meeting with Mr. Chapman.
I don't need those. All I'm going to do is fire him.
Why?
2 months ago, he brought an actress over here from Sweden and put her under contract for $10,000 a week.
Oh, yes, Ulla Bergström.
I found out she'd never made a movie in her life.
No, but she was the sensation of Europe in Chekhov's play, The Cherry Orchard, and she's done some other fabulous things.
Well, she's doing one right now, sitting up there at the studio, collecting $10,000 a week for nothing.
Well, Chief, it's her first picture, and they just haven't been able to find the right script for her.
Well, I've got it right here. It's called A One-Way Ticket to Sweden.
On a tanker?
We're through squandering money on that Swedish meatball. 8 weeks at $10,000 a week. Oh, wait till I get my hands on Chapman.
Chief, he's making movies, not packing crates. He's dealing with sensitive, creative artists. You can't turn out dreams on an assembly line.
Only it's time someone started running a movie business like a business.
Miss Hathaway?
Oh, come in, Mr. Chapman, and sit down.
Stay on your feet. This won't take long. Now, I understand you've had trouble finding something for your Swedish star to do.
That's right.
Well, I've come up with something that's perfect. It has travel, adventure.
Sounds like just a ticket.
Exactly. Now,
No, wait. You can tell her about it yourself. I brought her along. Come in, Miss Bergstrom. Miss Ola Bergstrom, Miss Hathaway.
How do you do?
And here's the real boss of the studio, our banker, Mr. Milburn Drysdale.
Mr. Drysdale, it's a great pleasure. I've heard such wonderful things about you.
Mr. Drysdale has an idea for you.
You have?
Forget it. It's terrible. But don't you worry. We'll have something just right for you, no matter how long it takes.
Mr. Chapman is about ready to send me back to Sweden.
What? 8 weeks at $10,000 a week.
Larry, we're making movies, not packing crates. We're dealing with sensitive, creative artists. You can't turn our dreams on an assembly line.
That was beautiful.
It just happens to be the way I feel. Now get busy and find something worthy of her talent.
There's a part I'd love to play, but Mr. Chapman does not think I should attempt it.
Oh, why not?
Well, it's a part of a poor sharecropper's daughter. She'd have to talk with a backwoods accent.
I can do it. I know I can. Oh, it's a real challenge. Please give me the chance.
What's the problem, Chapman?
I speak to you alone. Excuse us for a moment.
Make that half a moment.
Mr. Drysdale, she's from the European School of Realism. She wants to go to the backwoods to learn the authentic accent and mannerisms before we start the picture. So that could take another 3 months. And at $10,000 a week. Think it over.
Chief, I couldn't help but overhear. May I offer a possible solution?
There isn't any.
But there is. Miss Bergstrom could stay with the Clampetts and learn the backwoods accent and mannerisms while she's filming the picture.
Yeah. Remind me to talk to you later about a raise. Well, I've solved the problem.
You have?
Yes, I figured out a way you can play the part without delaying the picture 1 day.
Oh.
You're a genius.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
But you are.
No.
Milburn, you really are.
Let her talk me into it.
Wait till you see the chores that Granny's got for you to do.
Oh, yeah? Well, you can tell Granny I'm running off to join the French Foreign Legion.
What's the French Foreign Legion?
That's where you go to forget a woman.
What woman do you want to forget?
Granny.
How come it makes you forget?
Because you're out in the middle of the desert, fighting and marching and getting tromped on by camels, and dying of thirst in the burning sand whilst the sun scorches you to a cinder.
Why come you'd want to go to a place like that?
Like I told you, to join the French Foreign Legion.
It sounds awful.
Ellie, I don't make the weather in France. Dumb old girl.
Ellie, was that Jethro we heard?
Well, yes, sir, Paul.
Where is he? I got some chores wrote down for him.
Well, he says he ain't gonna do no more chores, Granny. Says he's running off.
What? Cut me a hickory stick. I'm gonna smoke his hops
Now,
until...
Granny, we don't want to be in the midst of a family ruckus just when that poor little Bergstrom girl gets here.
Well, is she just awful poor, Paul?
Well, I kind of figure she must be, Ellie. Otherwise, Mr. Drysdale wouldn't ask us to put her up.
I wonder why he ain't putting her up at his place.
Well, probably because we've been through just what she's facing, being strangers in Beverly Hills.
And that's a miserable feeling.
Even worse for her. She's from a foreign nation.
A place called Sweden.
This is how backwoods people live in your country.
Well, no, the Clampetts happen to strike oil. But they haven't lost the speech and mannerisms of the hills.
And here I can learn to play the part of a sharecropper's daughter.
Yes, all you have to do is watch Ellie Mae.
Mr. Drysdale, how long do you think I'll be staying here?
Just long enough to pick up their way of speaking. Did you bring your tape recorder?
It's in my...
Hey, doggy. This must be the little Bergstrom girl.
I wouldn't call her little, but she's pretty as a mess of hog jowls.
Welcome as a new catalog.
Miss Ula Bergstrom. This is Granny and Mr. Clappett.
Howdy.
Oh, and Ellie Mae.
Oh, howdy. My, you sure are a tall drink of water.
Where's Jethro?
Oh, he's packing up to run away from home. Here's Elmer. You can have him wash his hair.
Come in. I got a mess of grits and sow belly on the stove.
Mr. Drysdale, I've decided to think this over some more.
Wait, you want the part, don't you?
You know I do, but...
Don't worry. You'll love the Clampetts. They're wonderful people. You can trust me. I'm a genius.
Now, she'll be staying in with you, Ellie. Make sure that there's no critters in her bed.
Yes, he will.
You know, Mr. Clampett, I didn't get to tell you much about Miss Bergstrom on the phone.
Well, now, you just leave the getting acquainted to us, Mr. Drysdale. I reckon we know how to make her feel at home, huh, Granny?
We've bedded down a passel of strangers in our day. Ain't had no complaints yet.
I know, but
Now, you get back to the bank and stop worrying about Miss Bergstrom. We'll treat her so many ways, she's bound to like one of them.
Are you hungry?
I'm not actually. I'd like to freshen up a bit.
Would you like to take a dip in the cement pond?
Cement pond?
Ain't you never seen one of them?
No, I don't think so.
Sorry to be so long, Miss Ula, but I had to get Ralph out of your bed.
What?
Oh, he's just a little old gray squirrel. But he's getting a little nearsighted. Just don't stick your toes out from under the covers at night.
Well, let's get the young lady settled in. Excuse me, ma'am, but what kind of hide is this?
Alligator.
Kind of thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to say nothing.
That's gator, all right.
That doggies, I'd have to be awful hard up to tote a suitcase made out of gator skin.
Everything she has is made out of it, even her shoes.
That Sweden must be crawling with them varmints.
She's had a hard life, Jed.
My doggies, it'll be a pleasure to see her face when she ties into her first possum.
Bob, Jed, I'm running away from home.
Yeah, that's what Ellie was telling us. All packed, I see.
My clothes is. Now I'm gonna pack me some lunch.
Pa, we's gone swimming in the cement pond.
Fine, Ellie. Oh, say goodbye to your cousin before he runs off.
Goodbye, cousin. See you when you get back.
I ain't coming back. This is goodbye forever.
Okay. Bye forever. Come, Ula.
Coming, Ellie.
Jed? Who was that?
Oh, ain't you met her? That's the girl that's moving in with us.
Moving in?
That's right.
Here?
That's right.
In this house?
What's all this nonsense about you running away from home?
Not me, Granny. No, ma'am, no. Never.
Well, that's better. Now, you want to get out to the cement pond and saw me some firewood?
Yes, ma'am, that's what I want to do. Right now, I sure do. You bet. Yes,
See that, Jed? One look at this hickory persuader, and he changed his mind.
All he needed was one good look.
Got it!
Jethro, you better stop sewing for a while.
Reckon I'm gonna have to. I've done run out of benches. I run out of saws, too.
You certainly are strong, Jethro.
No stronger than your average mule.
Go right through those marble benches. I bet you could saw through anything.
Shucks, heck, far
Tarnation.
Wait. Let me get my tape recorder.
Oh, how do you want me to saw it? Straight across or down the middle?
Wait. You don't have to saw through the tape recorder.
Oh, I can do it.
I'm sure you can. I can see you're very strong.
You know something? Smarter than I am strong.
Are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'll cipher something for you. Let's see.
Let's go for a swim, shall we?
Okay.
Hold it! I'll cipher for you while I'm swimming. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4.
Well, did you have a good swim?
Well, just laughing, Paul.
How about you, Miss Ulam?
Just larping.
Good.
Jethro saw up all the wood I told him to.
Wore out 3 saws. Now he's fixing all the marble benches.
Didn't even have to tell him to do that.
Come on, Ula.
Well, just a minute, Ellie. Granny and me want to have a little talk with Miss Ula. She'll be along directly.
Well, yes, sir, Paul. See you in a bit, Ula.
Well, sit down.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
Thank you.
Well, tell me, Miss Ula, how long you been in this country?
2 months.
What you been doing all that time?
Not a thing. Just sitting around. And I'm so anxious to go to work.
What kind of work do you want to do, honey?
Act in the movies.
You want to be a movie star?
Well, I hope to be. That's why I came to Hollywood.
Uh-huh. Well, you ever acted in the movies before?
Not yet, but I know I can do it.
What did you do before you left Sweden?
I was working in the cherry orchard in Stockholm.
Cherry orchard, huh?
I was in it for 18 months.
Well, you must have been pretty good. You ever think of doing that over here?
Oh, please. It seems like I spent my life in the cherry orchard. Before Stockholm, I went from one end of Europe to the other doing the same thing.
Of course, when you're good at something.
No, thank you. I came here to be in the movies, and with your help, I know I can do it.
Well, we'll do everything we can. Of course, it's a big jump from cherry orchard to movie studio.
I see it as a challenge. I'm going to show Hollywood that a Swedish girl can be a sharecropper's daughter and make good.
Sharecropper's daughter.
Well, we know she was hard up. But now I see how she could eat so poor and yet look so good.
What you mean?
Well, she probably got all the cherries she could eat.
Miss Ula forgot her pocketbook.
Where's young Jet? Where is that sweet woman?
I'm right here, boy. I got plenty more for you to do. First off, take this to Miss Bergstrom. And then you can wash the windows.
Yeehaw!
You see how happy and contented he is when he has lots of chores to do?
I never seen him so happy to wash the windows.
And after that, I'm going to have him sharpen all of my kitchen knives.
Ready? I got a notion.
What you mean?
I'm going to call up Mr. Chapman over to my movie studio and ask him to drop over and take a look at Miss Ula.
You mean you think...
I grant you it's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance, but stranger things have happened.
Yes, ma'am? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Would you do me a favor?
Oh, anything, Miss Ula, anything. I'd climb the highest river or swim the deepest mountain.
All I want you to do is help me with this movie script.
Well, yeah, what do you want me to do? Produce it or direct it?
No. I just want you to read this line for me. It's right here.
Okay. I have got a powerful hankering for you, mister. Can't you read?
Yes. Now say the line without reading it.
Okay. I have got a powerful hankering for you, mister.
Just a moment. Let me get my tape recorder.
He's had had time to sharpen 24 knives and a barn full of tools by now.
I have got a powerful hankering for you, mister.
Say it again.
I got a powerful hankering for you, mister.
I told Jed that boy didn't know what sex he was opposite.
Hey, boy, how you doing with Granny's knives, did you? Uh-oh. Looks like you wasn't paying attention.
Oh, yes, I was. I never took my eyes off of her.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. But you better get down to the hardware store, quick.
Oh, yes, sir.
Where was Jethro going in such a hurry?
To the hardware store. Catch him and you can ride along. Just a minute, Mr. Chapman. You see that little girl sitting over yonder?
Oh, yes, sir?
Well, she is a sharecropper's daughter out of Sweden. Her name is Ulla Bergström. And I'd consider it a big favor if you was to put her in a movie.
What?
Just any little thing to get her started, and I'll see that you get a raise.
But that girl... A raise?
Dandy big one. How about it?
It's a deal. Miss Bergström, my name is Chapman. Come along with me.
Where are we going?
To the studio. You're going to be in the movies.
That's all right, Mr. Willie. You go along with him. Make us proud of you now.
She will.
But, Mr. Chapman, I don't understand. What is going on?
Jed, where's Miss Ulla going?
She's going to the studio to be in movies.
That's sweet of you, Jed. I hope she gets to be a star.
Me too, Granny, but just in case, let's plant us a cherry orchard out back.
Good for nothing girl chasing, work shirking, chore skipping, sneak off. I'll give him a paddling that he can write home about.
Now hold it, Granny. I ain't Jethro.
I know it. He done ate a 10-pound breakfast and snuck off.
Well, now sit down while I tell you the news.
Probably took off for town for more girl watching.
Granny, Jethro has done hired himself out.
You mean he gets paid for watching girls?
He's working. Got himself a job cleaning out Mr. Drysdale's garage.
Praise be. How did you manage that?
Jethro did it himself, but I wouldn't raise his allowance.
Raise it? Why, back home I could feed 5 young'uns and a good-sized mule on what you give him.
I know, but the boy just said he had to have more than $1 a week.
What does Mr. Drysdale pay him?
$15.
$15.
And Jethro says it's a lot more work right here in the neighborhood.
Well, if he can clean out garages as quick as he can ice boxes, he stands to make a fortune.
Well, I just hope it keeps his mind off of not having a girlfriend. Here lately, he's been as sad as a big-beaked bird in a hailstorm.
Hi, Jethro. Hey, where'd you get the magazine?
Mr. Drysdale's garage.
Swiner? I never heard of that.
That's because it's the magazine International Playboys. And you ain't no international playboy.
Well, then how come you're reading them? You ain't an international nothing.
Well, there is an article in here on how to give girls a brush off. And that's the first one I'm going to read.
Well, Jethro, I see...
Hey, Uncle Jed, come on inside. Man-to-man stuff.
You get that whole truckload from next door?
I already took 2 loads to the dump. Then I found the key to fame, fortune, and females.
At the dump?
No, in the Drysdale's garage. This whole stack was sitting there, just waiting to get hauled away.
Swinger. A magazine for International Playboy. Mr. Drysdale read this?
Well, him or Mrs. Drysdale, one.
I don't hardly think...
Hey, listen to this, Uncle Jed. How to be an international playboy, page 22. Cozy cooking for cuddly couples, page 30. Furnishing the bachelor pad, page 45. Uncle Jed, this is just what I've been looking for. I can hardly wait to start studying. Well, that there is a kitty cat of the month. There's one in every issue.
You better get these all out of sight before Granny sees them. Well,
Ain't Granny never seen a girl in a bathing suit before?
You ain't never seen so much girl in so little suit. Now get him out of here.
All right.
Morning, Miss Hathaway. How are you today?
Well, good morning, Chief. I'm suffering from sunstroke, malaria, and a broken arm. I have the hauling service estimate for cleaning out your garage, Chief. They'll do it for $75.
I see. And what is your recommendation?
But hire them.
A perfect example of secretarial thinking as opposed to executive thinking. I hired Jethro to do it for $15.
Chief, you'll spend that much on gasoline just hauling stuff to the dump. Why, there must be a ton of junk out there.
My dear Miss Hathaway, that garage is full of valuable items. And as part of the deal, I told Jethro he could keep anything he wanted.
How generous.
Now, there's no telling what he might find. Why, in the old clothes box, there's a dressing gown I've never worn. Sonny gave it to me one Christmas. He must have hated me that year.
Jethro's coming, and why don't you see him?
Oh, the poor darling. He must be worn to a frazzle. All hot and tired and dusty.
Greetings, dear friends.
What in tarnation air you got up for?
Reckon you ain't never seen International Playboy before. Most country folks ain't.
Where'd you get that outfit?
Mr. Drysdale said I could keep anything I found in his garage. This and this scarf is part of his own military uniform.
What?
Yeah, I found it in a box marked Salvation Army. Granny, is this all you got to eat?
What's wrong with it?
Well, nothing, but according to Swinger magazine, us international playboys has got to have what you call cuisine instead of just victuals.
What's Swinger magazine?
That's the handbook of international playboys. It says that 65% of us eat stuff like tornadoes, filet mignon, and lobster and stuff.
Oh, if I'd only known.
Hey, and you got to learn how to cook a little critter called a martini.
What's a martini?
Well, I don't know, but 36% of international playboys has 2 or more for lunch. I have found my what-you-call destiny. Do you know that 85% of international playboys drive sporty cars? 78% have their own hi-fi stereos, and 98% have more than 3 girlfriends.
Playboy, it sounds kind of expensive.
Well, I ain't planning on getting everything right off. I'm going to start with just 2 girlfriends.
Hold it, Granny. Even so, boy, if you was to quit cleaning garages for hire.
Oh, I can save a little on my bachelor pad.
Your what?
My bachelor pad. 99% all international playboys has their own. But I can make this one do for a while. That reminds me. From now on, everybody's got to stay out of the parlor.
What did you say?
That's where I'm going to be entertaining my women. Playing in my hi-fi stereo, cooking them martinis in the fireplace.
You asking for it, kid?
You think you can afford all this?
I got $15 in my last week's allowance. I am ready.
And here it comes.
What's going on, boy? Where's Granny?
She's probably chased me clean into town by now, but I doubled back on her. Kid, how do you like my super stereo hi-fi?
Super what?
Oh, us IPs just call it stereo. That is, the 78% of us that's got them. You see, the idea is to get romantic music coming at your girl from 2 different directions. I was all set to give it a listen test. Hey, you be the girl.
Well, I don't hardly.
Oh, here. Just pretend that you're my date. All full of roasted martinis, warm and cuddly from the fire. I just start these 2 records going.
You gonna play 2 records?
Uncle Jed, that's stereo. 1 for each ear. You see, when that romantic music comes sliding in at you from both sides and meets in the middle, that girl is a goner.
Well, I don't think Granny...
Uncle Jed, hold on. I'm gonna turn it off. Here comes instant romance. I must have had a wow in my woofer.
Boy, I think I'd forget it. Even if you do get this contraption to working, Granny ain't gonna leave you alone in here.
Well, she don't bother me, Uncle Jed. Once I get my data inside, I'll just shut them doors over yonder.
She must have doubled back on me, the ornery.
We'll be as snug as two bugs and...
I'm going to learn you manners so you can sit at the table like the rest of the family. This here's what you call a play. Oh, no. You've been watching Jethro again.
Hey, Ellie, where's Granny?
She's upstairs laying down. Got a powerful headache.
Come on, help me move my stuff into my new bachelor pad.
Whereabouts is it?
Parked out front.
Parked?
Yeah, come on, I'll show you.
I hear my bell.
Yonder she is.
This is a bachelor pad?
The best kind. With this rascal, I can go where the action is.
What you mean?
Well, I can park out in front of the kitty cat club and get them pretty girls as they come out the door. And if things get slow there, I just drive on down to the beach and get me another load as they come out of the water.
That thing's a mess. Well, you couldn't get a goat to go in there.
Well, I ain't got it fixed up yet. Wait till I move my stuff in.
What stuff?
My bachelor pad stuff. Etchings on the wall, super stereo hi-fi, soft lights for dancing, table and chairs for candlelight supper, big old sofa, fireplace. Boy, it is gonna be something. Come on, give me a hand. Okay, Allie, I got the stove connected.
You want me to start the fire?
No, I'll do that later. Doggone, it just ain't got the class of a fireplace.
Can I come out now?
No, let's check things off first. Victuals? I mean cuisine.
Well, there's a box in here with some ice in it and some goat's milk and turnip juice. Is that what you call cuisine?
Well, that's all I could get without Granny catching me. How do you like it, Uncle Jed?
What is it?
It's what you call a portable Playboy parlor.
Where'd you get it?
The city dump.
What's all them bricks for?
Oh, I was going to build a fireplace in it, but couldn't wait for the mortar to set.
There's somebody in there.
Come on out, Allie.
I'm coming.
Dumb old girl cousin. Why didn't you use a regular door?
Oh, I couldn't get to it.
What do you mean you couldn't get to it? Thank you.
Kind of full, ain't it?
Yeah, with a couple of girls in there, it's going to be real snug.
Ellie, Granny's up.
Hey, I'm headed for the kitty cat club. Bye. Hey, give me a little shot to get me started!
Dad, there's some furniture missing from... What's that, Red?
That's what Jethro calls his portable Playboy parlor.
Jed, mark my words. That boy is going to get himself into trouble.
Granny, he can't even get himself into the rig.
Jethro, I've only got a 10-minute break. Where are we going?
Come here, I want to show you something.
What is it?
Paradise on wheels. You got to see it to believe it. Here it is.
Well, I see it, but I don't believe it.
Oh, the paradise part is inside.
Well, what's all this supposed to be?
Oh, overflow. It was mighty crowded in there.
What are you putting on?
What 78% all international Playboys wears at a time like this. Come on in.
This has got to be a gag. Holy smoke!
Ain't this a gas? Quick as I can get to it, I'm gonna turn on the hi-fi and we'll dance.
Don't bother. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, no. Not without you giving me a kiss.
Forget it.
Oh, come on.
Let go.
Not till you put one right here.
Okey doke.
Just for that, you ain't getting invited back.
Jethro, my boy.
I'm not your boy, and here your old magazine's back.
My magazine?
Swinger. You said I could have everything that was in your garage, and they was there.
Oh, yes, but I didn't.
I read them from cover to cover, just like they said, and they got me into nothing but trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Every kind. I got whopped by Granny, yelled at by Uncle Jed, spent all of my money fixing up a portable pad, and the first kitty cat I showed it to uppercutted me right through the roof.
What?
Now I ain't got no pad, ain't got no truck neither, because I can't pay for the parking over to the kitty cat club. Wait till Uncle Jed hears about this.
Now, wait. We don't want to bother our Uncle Jed. Here, this will take care of your parking. Then come back here, and we'll talk further.
Jethro.
Howdy, Miss Jane. I was counting on getting me a couple of kitty cats, and all I got was a sore chin, a lump on my head, and a busted roof. And all my furniture messed up, too. Wait till Granny sees that.
Now, Jethro, don't go home. Come back here to the bank.
Well, all right. But if I was you, I'd burn them Swinger magazines.
Swinger magazines?
Yeah, he stumbled onto a stack of back issues somewhere.
In your garage, perhaps?
Now, never mind. Now, we've got to get that corn-fed Casanova back in a good mood. I know. Hire a couple of kitty cats to make a fuss over him. Me? What? How would it look for a bank president to walk into the kitty cat club in the middle of the day?
Ask the doorman. You go there for lunch twice a week.
2 kitty cats.
Howdy, ma'am. I'm the international playboy. Yonder's my pad. Would you care to step in for a belt of cold goat's milk? Gone it. What's wrong? Maybe I ought to give my paradise on wheels a coat of paint.
Well, hi there, international playboy.
Well, howdy, kitty cat. Would you care to step into my pad and lap up a saucer of goat's milk?
I'd love it.
Hot dog, I got me a kitty cat. 2 kitty cats. Oh, boy, Miss Jane. Ow. Here, Miss Jane, sit down and read a book whilst I show her my pad.
No, thank you. 2 kitty cats you wanted? 2 kitty cats? You've got.
Well, all right, but it's going to be kind of a tight fit. Miss Jane, I can't get to the icebox for the goat's milk.
Who cares?
Well, you can look at my etchings or listen to music.
You have music?
Super stereo hi-fi. I got it plugged into the bank.
Marvelous. Let's hear it.
Okay, just let me reach the switch. Boy, it bores right into your brain, don't it?
Quickly, let's get back to the club.
What was that noise?
Hi-fi. This just ain't my day. I'm gonna unplug myself and go home.
Oh, no, not home. Not in this mood.
But I ain't having no luck at all. You reckon there'll be any girls at the beach?
Oh, scads of them. Bathing beauties. Oh, that's the spot. The beach.
Okay, I'll give it a try.
Back to work, everybody. There's a bank, not a sideshow.
Mr. Drysdale, isn't he the boy whose uncle has $50 million?
Yeah. What's it to you? Do you work here?
I used to.
Boy, what a miserable place this is. Cold and wet. Stove won't draw. No electricity, no company, no nothing. Well, you ain't exactly the kind of kitty cat I was hoping for, but you're welcome to come inside and have some goat's milk, quick as all that smoke clears out. Howdy, ma'am.
Hello.
Hey, wait a minute, hold on.
Yes.
Hold this cat. I got some notes on what to say. Oh, I use them to light the fire. Cold, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
Sure is. Why don't you put on your jacket?
Oh, what a good idea.
Thank you.
I bet it's warm in there.
But awful smoky.
It seems to be clear now.
Hey, it is, ain't it?
Well, would you like to go inside and get warm?
Yeah. Oh, will you promise to wait for me?
I have an even better idea. We can both go in.
Oh, yeah. I should have thought of that, but I'm kind of lost without my notes. Step into paradise.
Before I do, your uncle does have $50 million.
Yeah, I know. Cozy, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
I'd play some music for you, but ain't got no electricity for my hi-fi.
We can make our own music.
Okay. If I can find some tissue paper for my comb, what do you play?
Get it.
Oh, would you care for some goat's milk?
Have you got anything stronger?
Yeah. I got some home-squeezed turnip juice.
Well, I'll have mine on the rocks.
Well, it's awful cold out there. Wouldn't you rather have it in here?
You talked me into it.
Okay. Whilst I'm working my way into the icebox, I'll cipher for you. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4.
You're kidding.
Didn't you know that? Oh, you are in for a treat. Sit down. Now, that brings us up to the 10th. I'll need a set of toes to cipher them. How about yours? You got your shoes off.
Listen, what's that noise?
Oh, that's just water. Now, let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. 10 times 1 is 10.
Tide's in. We're floating.
Hot dog! I got me a yacht. This is what you call class.
This is what you call nuts, and I'm what you call leaving.
Hey, shut the door, will ya? He's going on over to Catalina.
Miss Hathaway is here.
About time.
You sent for me, Chief?
Well, I did. Where have you been?
It's my day off.
Day off? I don't give days off to... What is that?
This happens to be the official uniform of the Biddle Bird Watchers, Beverly Hills Nest, of which I am flockmaster.
Well, fly home and change. You're taking me up to the Clampets to get these income tax returns signed.
But, Chief, 1 year ago, you promised me a day off. Our esteemed founder, Professor P. Casper Biddle, is coming to town.
No, forget it. I need you at the Clampets in case he asks me tax questions I can't answer.
But, Chief, the professor is leading us to the nesting place of the yellow-bellied sapsucker.
Not until I lead you to the nesting place of the stubble-cheeked taxpayer. Now, come on. We'll stop by your place and you can change clothes.
I am sorry, Chief. I have worked weekends, holidays, and nights so that I might have Biddle day off. And as flockmaster of the Beverly Hills Nest, it is my duty and privilege to meet the professor upon his arrival.
Well, call him. Tell him to take a taxi.
Our only contact is by carrier pigeon, and the last one has been dispatched.
Carrier pigeon?
Yes, the professor is hiking in from the Tehachapies. I'm to meet him at the foot of the Big Saugus Wash in exactly 22 minutes.
All right, we'll pick him up on the way to the Clampets.
But Chief, our bird-watching expedition.
You'll be out of there in plenty of time to look for your freckle-faced woodpecker or whatever it is.
Yellow-bellied sapsucker.
All right, all right.
Come on, pal. You get the first taste.
So you made some donuts, huh?
Yes, sir. All by myself. Third I am.
Well, that's what you call a real man-sized donut.
Made especially for you and Jethro.
Yeah, ain't that dandy? Why don't you go find Jethro so he can enjoy these with me?
Well, all right.
How now?
I distinctly heard the call of a hermit warbler.
How exciting! Perhaps the Clampetts will know if there's one nested hereabout.
You wait here. If there are any questions, I'll sneak out and see you.
But Professor Biddle would like to meet Mr. Clampett.
Yes, I'm trying to raise money to aid in the preservation of the California condor.
The professor is the only human being who has ever managed to live in prolonged and intimate contact with that rare and remarkable bird.
I've actually occupied a condor's nest. As these photographs will prove. I took these with a tripwire. Of course, the condor's nest is just a rocky ledge or sheltered spot high among the rocks.
As you know, Chief, the California condor is probably one of the largest of all flying birds.
But they need help if we're to keep them from disappearing. There are only about 40 left.
A donation for Mr. Clampett.
Forget it. Await in the car, both of you. Preferably in the trunk.
Well, Mr. Drydale, come in.
Thank you, Mr. Clampett.
Who's them two fellas?
Oh, that's a couple of bird watchers.
Well, from the looks of them, the birds probably do a little watching themselves.
Well, Mr. Clampett, I'm afraid it's that time of year again.
What you mean?
Time for us to pay our income taxes.
Oh, good. Let's give them a little extra this year.
What?
Well, I sure can't spend all the money I got, and it ain't doing no good just laying down there in your bank. Turned pale. You feeling poorly?
No, I'll be all right. May I have a glass of water?
Well, howdy there.
Ellie Mae, hello.
Miss Jane, I didn't know you right off.
Ellie Mae, I should like you to meet the famous ornithologist and founder of Biddle's Bird Watchers, Professor P. Casper Biddle. Ellie Mae Clampett.
How do you do, Miss Clampett?
Well, howdy. What y'all looking for?
Birds.
Well, shucks, you don't need them things. I'll just whistle you one down so you can see it up close.
A wild bird?
Well, what would you like? A blue jay, a robin, a owl, a dove?
She does have an amazing rapport with wild creatures.
Well, yonder's Henry. Come on down, Henry. Come on now.
Remarkable. She has tamed a Cyanoceta stellari.
Well, this is a blue jay.
Same thing, Ellie. He's a member of the Corvidae family.
No, ma'am, he's a Clampett. See you later, Henry.
Flockmaster Hathaway, why isn't this girl a Biddle bird watcher?
A definite oversight on my part, Commander Biddle. Ellie Mae would make a splendid addition to our Beverly Hills nest. Would you like that, Ellie?
I reckon so.
Well, I suggest we induct her right now and get her uniformed in time for today's expedition.
Good thinking.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Hello there, Granny.
Hello. Well, Jed, did you put it to him about the fella?
What fella, Granny?
The fella Ellie ain't got.
Well, Mrs. Drysdale wasn't feeling good. I thought I'd wait a bit.
Ellie's been waiting 4 years. If you can't come up with a new one, bring back one of the old ones. Like that big, handsome movie star, Dash Rip Rock.
Yeah, what happened there? Ellie liked him a heap.
And he liked Ellie.
Well, then why don't he come around no more? Get after him, twist his arm a bit.
I'll do just that.
Well, now, hold on. I wouldn't want you pushing Mr. Rip Rock at Ellie.
Wow, Granny, look at the fella I just met.
Hello, I am P. Casper Biddle.
Howdy.
Howdy. We's going bird watching in Griffith Park.
Yes, we're going to look for the nesting place of the yellow-bellied sapsucker.
I reckon it wouldn't hurt to push Mr. Rip Rock a little.
Dash Riprock to see Mr. Drysdale.
Dash Riprock in person. Here in this office.
Yes. I believe I'm expected.
Oh, no. I would have had my hair done and worn a different dress and...
Mr. Drysdale's expecting me. Miss?
May I have your autograph?
Of course.
Well, not there. Here.
What are you doing out here, Noodleman?
Mr. Drysdale, I'd appreciate it if you used my professional name, Dash Riprock.
Oh, forgive me, forgive me. I've been reading your contract. In here, you're Homer Noodleman of Peoria, Illinois.
Yes, that's my legal name.
Interesting thing about your contract, Homer. Dash. The studio has the right to put you in a television series.
Oh, I'm sure they wouldn't want to do that.
Yes. Well, they usually do what I recommend.
But I'm strictly a movie star. The overexposure of television...
Oh, well, let's forget it. Well, how's everything else? Been having any fun?
Oh, man.
Yes, I read about you in the gossip columns. You must have 5 or 6 girls, eh?
Oh, don't believe everything you read in the newspaper. More like 15 or 20.
Tell me, Dash, whatever happened with you and Ellie Mae Clampett?
Who?
The little hillbilly girl.
Oh, yeah, Ellie Mae. Nice girl. Real sweet. Beautiful, too.
Then why don't you date her anymore?
Oh, no, not me. Those people play with guns.
What?
I brought her home one night. Granny was waiting up for us with a double-barreled shotgun across her lap.
Well, you shouldn't have kept her out so late.
It was 8:30.
Dash, just do me a favor and start dating Ellie again, eh?
No, thank you. The code of the hills is not for me.
Yeah. Well, you won't have time for dating anyway once you start your new television series, Crabman. You'll cash in on the craze for comic strip heroes. You'll wear a crab outfit with these big claws. Drive a crabmobile.
Mr. Drysdale?
Yes, Homer?
Can I use your phone? I'd like to call Mr. Clampett. Ask permission to see his daughter.
Good boy, Dad.
Oh, Professor. Miss Jane says her and Ellie will be out directly.
Thank you. What was that?
Nothing. I just busted a donut.
Donut?
What you looking at?
Well, I'm trying to find a stellar eye in that dying elm tree.
Oh, that ain't what's killing it. That's last week's cupcakes.
Cupcakes?
Sit down, Professor. Tell me all about yourself.
There's something alive in that sack?
Just some cookies. Where are you from, Professor?
Well, at present, I'm living in a little shack up in the mountains.
You ain't got the look of a mountain man.
Well, no, it's not my native habitat. I'm just living there to be near my friends, the condors.
They live in the mountains, do they?
Oh, yes, that's the only place they're happy.
I know just how they feel.
Are you familiar with the California condors?
No, but that name rings a bell. You know any other condors?
Well, there are some in South America.
That's down in my neck of the woods.
Doubtless you mean the Andean condors.
No. Let me see now. What was their name again?
Here she is, Professor, our fledgling bird watcher.
My word, you are a credit to our group, Miss Clampett.
Thank you.
We'd best hurry, Commander Biddle. We rendezvous with the others at 1400 hours.
Oh, yes, so will you. Goodbye, Granny.
Bye-bye.
Granny?
Granny, I can't find them cookies I baked yesterday.
You can't?
No, and I'm going to take them with me. Same thing happened to my cupcakes last week.
Well, don't worry about it, honey.
Say, Ellie, Riprock called while she was out getting your uniform. Said he was coming over to see you.
Well, tell him I'll get back quick as I can.
Well, ain't you going to wait for him? He should be here by now.
Well, I can't, Pa. I'm going with them.
Well, now, Ellie, don't you remember Dash? A big, strapping, good-looking movie star?
Sure. Tell him I'll get back just as soon as we done bird watching.
Well, say, you might as well take along my bird call that I whittled. It's upstairs in my room someplace.
Okay. Be back in a minute.
Say, now, there's who you ought to take bird watching.
Jethro?
Have him break trail through the brush for you. Them feet of his will lay down a path you can drive a wagon over.
What do you think, Commander?
Well, he's not in uniform, but
Jethro! Come here, boy. You going bird watching?
Here. Take this out in the woods with you and get rid of it. But don't let Ellie see what's in it.
Huh?
Come on, boy. They're waiting for you.
Uncle Jed, what's going on here?
He's going out looking for birds.
Hot dog. What kind? Quail, duck, pheasant, turkey?
Ask him.
Jethro Bodine, Professor P. Casper Biddle.
Well, Jethro.
Howdy. What kind of birds we going looking for?
Yellow-bellied sapsuckers.
Divvy's on the drumstick.
Have fun now.
I found it, Pa.
Well, I say, Ellie, that ain't the call I had in mind.
Thought you said Dash Riprock was coming to see Ellie.
He is, but I couldn't hold her. Now we gotta figure out how to hold him till she gets back.
Oh, that won't be no chore. I got a great big pot of grits and gopher I can warm up for him.
That ought to hold him.
Speaking of gophers, do you remember that bucktooth family that used to live up on Piney Ridge?
You mean the Condors?
Yeah. What was their first names?
Let me think now.
It wasn't Andy and somebody, was it?
Well, let's see now. Hers was Jenny.
That's right. They called her Aunt Jenny.
And Uncle Will. Will and Jenny Condor.
That's them. Had 14 young'uns.
Every one of them bucktooth.
When that family went to eating corn on the cob, they set up a clatter you could hear for a mile away.
What made you ask about him, Granny?
That little professor fella. He knows some condors out here in California.
A ticket, you say? Wonder if there's any kin to Will and Jenny.
Be they's mountain folks.
Well, let's have them down to Victuals.
Dandy idea. The professor's staying with him. He can fetch him down. I'll cook up a great big mess of catfish.
And plenty of corn on the cob.
Mr. Drysdale, wait. Let me explain. I got here as soon as I could.
It wasn't soon enough, Homer.
I wanted to clear the whole afternoon and evening for Ellie Mae. That was 6 dates I had to break.
Okay, you got one more chance. But make good, or you'll be combing seaweed out of your hair. With a claw.
You ain't leaving, are you, Mr. Riprock?
Ellie will be back.
And I'll be waiting for her. I'll sit right here so I don't miss it.
Oh, no, you don't have to do that. Come on inside and be comfortable.
I'll give you some victuals. Do you like grits?
Well, like anything you cook, Granny.
Wait till you see what I've cooked with them.
I sure hope that professor don't keep Ellie away too long.
Oh, say, speaking of that little oddball, did he ask you for money to help the Condors?
No, he spoke to Granny about him, but he didn't ask for money.
Good.
But if the Condors need help, I'll give him all the money he wants.
Please, Mr. Clapp.
Turning pale again.
Look, don't give the professor any money, at least until I've looked into the tax aspects. It may not be deductible.
Oh, what difference does that make?
Now, please, just wait until I've checked into it. Meantime, the state of California is doing what it can to help the Condors. So you relax, and I'll get back to you.
I sure hope they ain't related to Will and Jenny. Be a blow to find out their kin was taking charity from the state.
This might take a bit to warm up.
Well, that's all right.
I'd offer you one of Ellie's cookies, but they's all gone. I tell you, when that girl bakes something, it don't stay around no time at all.
She must be pretty good.
Good ain't the word for Ellie's cooking. Why, just this morning she baked 10 pounds of donuts and they's gone already.
Just my luck to miss out on them.
It sure is.
Well, how y'all doing?
Granny's been telling me all about Ellie's cooking.
Oh, well, don't forget, she's awful pretty.
He didn't get a chance to sample nothing, Jed.
Oh, that's too bad. But then from what I hear tell, you movie stars ain't never home to eat nohow.
True, but then something like Ellie's cooking might just settle a fella down.
That's a fact.
Ellie's cooking and a fella might never leave the table.
No. You're going to be all right.
What's the matter with Jethro?
Well, he became ill in the trail. We terminated our expedition and rushed him home.
What's hurting you, boy?
Them donuts you get me. I feel like I swallowed a couple of brake drums.
You ate them?
Well, what'd you think I'd do? Bury them?
My own fault for making them. I shouldn't have tried to best Ellie.
What are you talking about? Ellie's a wonderful.
Best thing in the world for a stomach ache. Miss Jane, take Dash out and show him the cement pond.
It's a good idea.
Oh, well, we've seen the cement pond.
It's got all different water in it now.
Real pretty.
You get upstairs to bed. I'll be up directly and doctor you.
Now I know what a chicken feels like with a gizzard full of rocks.
Granny, glad to get you alone for a minute. You know them condors we was wanting to have down to Victuals?
Yeah?
Well, it turns out they is real hard up.
No.
According to Mr. Drysdale, they is on relief.
Let's give them a sack full of money.
Granny, they is mountain folks. They wouldn't take money from strangers.
True.
If You gotta figure a way to help them so they can keep their pride.
The little professor fella is a friend of theirs. Why don't you talk to him whilst I remedy Jethro?
Good idea.
I hope we're going to be good friends, Ellie.
We already are. Well, you're one of the nicest, kindest...
Ellie Mae, you're back.
Well, howdy, Dash. This here's Professor Biddle.
Hi. Gee, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Dash, this is the famous Professor Biddle I've been telling you about.
Swell. Come on, Ellie, let's go for a walk.
Here, just a moment. Sir?
Professor, you're just the fellow I've been looking for.
But
Sit down. I want to talk to you about helping them condors.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Indeed, it would, Mr. Clancy.
You too, Miss Jane. Sit down.
Thank you.
Granny tells me you've been staying with them up there in the mountains.
Yes, I have.
What kind of place they got?
Well, they live mostly in caves and on rock ledges.
Tell. How many of them is there up there?
Well, I've only counted 12 myself, but there's supposed to be about 40 of them altogether.
You got Will and Jenny backed off. I bet you when that California bunch goes to eating corn on a cob, you can't hear yourself think.
Mr. Clampett, condors do not eat corn.
The ones back home do.
Back home? Oh, you're probably thinking of wild turkeys.
Oh, there's corn on a cob made the noise.
Perhaps I can clear up the confusion. Commander, where are those pictures of you and the condors?
In my map case inside.
Excuse me.
Say, Professor, I got a kind of a notion. Supposing, instead of money, we gather together a bunch of clothes and stuff and leave them up there in the mountains where the condors can find them.
Clothes?
Yeah, good, heavy, warm stuff.
You couldn't get a condor to wear clothes.
You mean to tell me there's 40 of them running around up there buck-tooth naked?
Mr. Clampett, do you know what a condor looks like?
I don't care how pretty they are. They ought to wear something.
Oh, Mr. Clampett, I am so thrilled that you're going to help the commander in his fight to save the condors. For years now, they have been driven farther and farther back into the mountains, shot at, harassed, poisoned.
I don't wonder, the way they carry on.
Oh, please, let me show you a picture of the condors.
No, thank you. Whatever you do, don't let Granny see them.
Clothes on condors. Gee, and they call me a nut.
Like I told you, I got a date with Professor Biddle tonight.
Well, break it. I broke 6 for you.
Well, I can't do that.
Of course you can.
No, I can't.
Excuse me, I believe the young lady made herself clear.
Now, stay out of this, little fella. Now, look, Ellie.
I'm warning you, don't annoy her.
Butt out, Buster.
I'm afraid you leave me no alternative. Prepare to defend yourself.
I'll be doggone. So that's a condor.
Yes, they're the largest bird.
Oh! Do you give up? Yes, yes.
Say uncle!
Uncle, uncle!
Very well. Let him up, Ellie.
No hard feelings, Dash. See you tomorrow night.
Okay. But don't be surprised if I pick you up in a crabmobile.
Chaw's Hickory Stick and Restless Ambition, Jethro's Girl Watching and the Sports Car Trade. In the golden age of American television, few programs captured the gentle collision of rural simplicity and urban sophistication with the consistent warmth and precision of the Beverly Hillbillies. Season 4 of this beloved series, airing in the mid-1960s, continues to demonstrate the show's remarkable ability to mine comedy from the purest sources of human nature, the restless energy of youth, the protective instincts of family, and the enduring tension between duty and desire. The composite script under consideration opens with a scene of domestic friction that is both immediately recognizable and richly layered, establishing the thematic foundation for the adventures that follow. Here, in the familiar setting of the Clampett mansion, Granny's fiery determination to keep Jethro productively occupied collides with the young man's irrepressible interest in the opposite sex, culminating in one of the series' most memorable displays of misguided ambition, the trade of the family's beloved truck for a flashy imported sports car. The episode begins in medias res with Jed Clampett acknowledging Granny's prior instruction. "I told Jethro to do that," he says, to which Granny replies with characteristic directness, "I know you did." The exchange is brief, yet it immediately situates the viewer within the family's ongoing struggle to maintain the work ethic that defined their mountain life even amid the luxuries of Beverly Hills. Granny's subsequent demand is pure Irene Ryan, "Touch me a hickory stick. I'll learn him to shirk his chores." The threat is delivered with the absolute conviction of a woman who has raised generations through the firm application of both love and discipline. In the cultural context of the 1960s, when traditional family structures were beginning to face the pressures of a rapidly modernizing society, Granny's insistence on chores from sunup till sundown functions as more than comic exaggeration. It represents a moral anchor, a belief that idle hands and wandering minds lead to trouble. Jed's measured response that Jethro has already completed the work assigned reveals the quieter wisdom of Buddy Ebsen's performance. Jed never raises his voice, he simply observes that the boy has done what was asked, only for Granny to declare that she will invent more labor if necessary. This gentle push and pull between the two elders is one of the series' most reliable sources of humor and heart. Jed understands the value of work, yet he also recognizes the natural restlessness of a young man who has tasted a wider world. The conversation soon turns to the reason for Jethro's absence. He has taken a little trip into town, and Granny's prediction is swift and severe. Upon his return, he will take a little trip to the woodshed. The drugstore is identified as the likely destination, a place where in Granny's view a boy risks becoming a drugstore dude. Jed's defense is characteristically mild. Laying in bed until 6 o'clock in the morning does not, in his estimation, constitute dudedom. Yet Granny presses the point, hanging around the drugstore does. The underlying concern is made explicit when Jed confides, "Just between us, I think he's hoping to meet up with some members of the opposite sex." Granny's retort is one of the script's most memorable lines and a perfect encapsulation of her worldview. "Jethro, he don't even know what sex he's opposite." The line is delivered with the dry certainty of a woman who has observed the foibles of men for decades. In the broader landscape of 1960s television, such dialogue walks a careful line. The show acknowledges the natural curiosity of adolescence without descending into vulgarity, maintaining the wholesome tone that made the Beverly Hillbillies a family favorite across multiple generations. Jed's philosophical response provides one of the episode's earliest moments of genuine insight. "A boy has got to do a certain amount of girl watching," he explains. "Once he gets it out of his system, he's ready to come back and pitch in." This perspective reflects a tolerant understanding of human development that stands in gentle contrast to Granny's more rigorous approach. Buddy Ebsen's delivery here is masterful in its understatement. There is no lecture, no moralizing. Merely the calm observation of a man who has lived long enough to recognize that certain energies must be acknowledged rather than suppressed. The scene thus establishes a central tension of the series, the balance between the disciplined rural values the Clampetts brought with them from the hills and the freer, more distracting possibilities of Beverly Hills life. The arrival of Jethro himself interrupts the conversation with the sudden energy that Max Baer Jr. brought so consistently to the role. "Who's that? I don't know, but he sure is in an awful hurry," someone remarks, and then the truth is revealed: it's Jethro. The young man enters in a state of pure exuberance, declaring of his new acquisition, "Ain't she a beauty? Wait till a girl see me driving around in this." The sports car, obtained from what you call a used car lot, is presented by the salesman as a real girl trap. In the language of the mid-1960s, the phrase girl trap carries a particular resonance, reflecting a popular culture increasingly attentive to the automobile as a symbol of masculine allure and independence. Jethro's pride is absolute. He has traded the family's sturdy truck, described by Jed as "your MA's fine big truck," for this little squash-down thing. The contrast between the practical vehicle that carried the Clampetts from the Ozarks to California and the flashy imported sports car is visual and thematic. The truck represents continuity, reliability, and the family's shared history. The sports car represents Jethro's individual longing for sophistication and romantic success. The financial details of the transaction are revealed with the comic precision that characterizes the series at its best. Jethro announces that the car is a $7,000 imported sports car. When asked how much he received in boot, he admits the opposite: he owes $7,000, and then, after a moment of recollection, "With the truck I owe him $7,025. The addition of the extra $25 is a small but perfect comic beat, illustrating both Jethro's limited grasp of financial reality and the salesman's ability to extract every possible advantage. Jed's immediate reaction is one of quiet horror. "Pedro, you take this thing back where you got it, and fetch home the truck," he instructs. The use of the name Pedro, whether referring to a real or imagined intermediary, underscores the Clampetts' continued reliance on practical no-nonsense solutions. Granny's response is more physical and immediate. She orders Jethro to the woodshed, promising action of a very different kind from the swinging action he claims to desire. Jethro's protest is pure Max Bear Jr. "Oh gee, y'all treat me like I'm a kid. I'm a graduate of the 6th grade." The invocation of his formal education is a running gag throughout the series, and here it is deployed with particular effectiveness. In the Clampett household, a 6th grade education is a source of genuine pride, yet the adult world of Beverly Hills continually reveals its limitations. Granny's reply is swift: "There's what too much education has done." The line is spoken with the conviction of a woman who values practical knowledge over book learning, and it reflects a broader cultural conversation of the 1960s about the changing nature of education and its relationship to character. Jed Ever the peacemaker observes that what Jethro truly needs is work, work and more work. Chores from sun up till sundown. That'll keep his mind off the girls. This opening sequence, though brief in terms of screen time, is densely packed with the elements that make the Beverly Hillbillies endure. The physical comedy is implied rather than fully staged in the dialogue alone: the hickory stick, the threatened trip to the woodshed, the arrival of the sports car, but the verbal comedy is razor sharp. Irene Ryan's Granny is a force of nature, her threats delivered with the absolute seriousness that makes them hilarious. Buddy Ebsen's Jed provides the calm center, his understated reactions allowing the audience to appreciate the absurdity without ever losing affection for the characters. Max Bear Jr.'s Jethro is the perfect embodiment of youthful folly, enthusiastic, limited in understanding, and fundamentally good-hearted even in his most misguided schemes. The sports car trade itself functions as a microcosm of the larger culture clash that defines the series. In the mid-1960s, the automobile had become a powerful symbol of American prosperity and personal freedom. Imported sports cars carried an additional aura of European sophistication and glamour. For Jethro, the vehicle is not merely transportation, it is a tool for achieving the romantic success he has observed in the wider world. Yet the Clampetts, for all their newfound wealth, remain guided by values of practicality, loyalty, and family continuity. The truck that carried them to Beverly Hills is more than a vehicle. It is a tangible link to their past. Trading it away for a machine that Jethro cannot truly afford and does not fully understand is an act of profound if comic disconnection. The scene also introduces the theme of restlessness that will echo throughout the composite episodes. Jethro's desire for swinging action and where things are jumping reflects a young man's natural hunger for excitement, yet it is framed against the steady rhythms of family life and productive labor. Granny's insistence on chores is not mere meanness, it is an expression of love expressed through discipline. In an era when many traditional forms of authority were being questioned, the series presents this dynamic with affection rather than irony. The audience is invited to laugh at Granny's severity while recognizing the genuine care that underlies it. As the opening movement concludes, the script prepares the ground for the larger narrative that will unfold. Jethro's ambition has been established, as has the family's determination to keep him grounded. The sports car stands as a gleaming, impractical monument to his desires, while the hickory stick remains a tangible reminder of the consequences of neglecting duty. In the careful balance of these elements, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its unique gift, the ability to find comedy in the gap between aspiration and reality, and to do so without ever losing sight of the fundamental goodness of its characters. The enduring appeal of this opening sequence lies in its perfect calibration of tone. There is no cruelty in the humor, no condescension toward the Clampetts' rural perspective. Instead, the show celebrates the clarity of their values, even as it allows the audience to enjoy the spectacle of Jethro's latest scheme. In the broader context of 1960s television, when many sitcoms were beginning to explore more contemporary social issues, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained its commitment to character-driven comedy rooted in timeless human foibles. The restlessness of youth, the protective instincts of elders, the allure of the new and shiny, these are themes that transcend any particular decade. Max Bear Jr.'s physical presence is essential to the success of these moments. Tall, energetic and possessed of an almost childlike capacity for enthusiasm, he makes Jethro's schemes believable even at their most absurd. When he declares the sports car a girl trap, the audience believes that he believes it. When he protests that he is a graduate of the 6th grade, the line lands with the perfect mixture of pride and pathos. Irene Ryan, for her part, never softens Granny's edges. The hickory stick is not a prop for gentle comedy. It is a genuine instrument of correction in her hands, and the threat of the woodshed is delivered with absolute conviction. Buddy Ebsen's Jed remains the quiet observer, the man who understands both sides and seeks the middle path. In reflecting on this opening, one is reminded of the series' larger achievement. The Beverly Hillbillies never mocked its characters for their lack of sophistication. Instead, it allowed their simplicity to reveal the pretensions of the world around them. Jethro's sports car dream is foolish, yet it is also deeply human. Granny's insistence on work is severe, yet it is also loving. Jed's tolerance is wise, yet it is also patient. In the space between these perspectives, the show finds its comedy and its heart. The scene's careful construction also rewards close attention to language. The repeated references to the woodshed, the drugstore, the hickory stick and the girl trap create a linguistic texture that is both specific to the Clampett's idiom and universally comic. The addition of the extra $25 to the debt is a small masterpiece of timing, a detail that reveals character without requiring explanation. Jethro's pride in his 6th grade education is similarly economical, conveying volumes about his self-perception and the family's values in a single line. As the narrative prepares to shift toward the larger concerns of the studio and the arrival of Ulla Bergstrom, this opening sequence stands complete in itself, a perfectly realized portrait of family dynamics, youthful ambition and the comic consequences of both. It is a testament to the writing, the performances and the enduring vision of a series that understood that the richest comedy often arises from the simplest of human situations: a boy wanting to impress girls, an elder determined to keep him honest, and a family truck traded for a dream that cannot last. In the end, the sports car will be returned, the chores will be done, and the family will remain intact. Yet the desire that prompted the trade will linger, as it must, for it is part of what makes Jethro who he is. And in allowing the audience to laugh at that desire while still caring for the boy who feels it, The Beverly Hillbillies once again affirms its place among the most affectionate and insightful comedies of its era. The transition from the Clampett household's domestic concerns to the polished corridors of Mammoth Picture Studios marks one of the series' most reliable and rewarding structural devices. In the composite Season 4 material under examination, this shift occurs with seamless efficiency, moving the audience from Granny's hickory stick threats and Jethro's automotive folly into the rarefied atmosphere of Hollywood deal-making, where money is spent with abandon and artistic temperament is invoked as both shield and sword. Here Mr. Milburn Drysdale, the eternally anxious guardian of the Clampett fortune, confronts what he regards as an unconscionable waste of resources: the continued employment of a Swedish actress named Ulla Bergstrom at the princely sum of $10,000 a week, despite her having produced no footage whatsoever. The sequence that unfolds is a masterclass in the gentle satire of institutional excess, character-driven confrontation, and the clash between hard-headed banking logic and the softer claims of creative sensibility. The scene opens in Drysdale's office with the arrival of Miss Jane Hathaway, who enters carrying files related to Mammoth Picture Studios. Her purpose is clear and professional. She has prepared the necessary documentation for a meeting with Mr. Chapman, the studio executive responsible for the troublesome contract. Drysdale's response is immediate and absolute. "I don't need those," he declares. "All I'm gonna do is fire him." The line is delivered with the clipped certainty of a man who has reached the limit of his patience. In the broader context of 1960s American television, Drysdale's outrage functions as both comic exaggeration and pointed commentary. The mid-decade period saw Hollywood studios grappling with rising costs, changing audience tastes, and the lingering effects of the studio system's decline. Contracts that bound performers to substantial salaries without corresponding productivity were not unknown, and the series seizes upon this reality with affectionate precision. Miss Hathaway's attempt to provide context is met with Drysdale's escalating indignation. 2 months earlier, Chapman had brought an actress from Sweden and placed her under contract for $10,000 a week. The actress in question is identified as Ulla Bergström, a name that carries the exotic allure of European cinema. Drysdale's discovery that she has never made a motion picture in her life is presented as a personal affront. "I found out she never made a movie in her life." He states the words heavy with the weight of fiscal responsibility. Miss Hathaway's defense is measured and characteristic of her role as the voice of reason within Drysdale's often impulsive world. She notes that Bergström was the sensation of Europe and had appeared in Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard along with other fabulous things. The reference to the classic Russian play is a small but significant detail, grounding the character in a tradition of serious theatrical performance, even as the comedy prepares to exploit the gap between that tradition and the expectations of Hollywood. Drysdale is unmoved. "Well, she's doing one right now," he replies, sitting up there at the studio collecting $10,000 a week for nothing. The image of an actress drawing a substantial salary while remaining idle is one of the sequence's central comic engines. In the economic climate of the mid-1960s, $10,000 a week represented an extraordinary sum far beyond the reach of ordinary Americans and even substantial by the standards of established Hollywood talent. The series does not dwell on the precise purchasing power of the figure. Instead, it allows the sheer magnitude to speak for itself, trusting the audience to recognize the absurdity. Miss Hathaway's further explanation that it is Bergström's first picture and the studio has been unable to locate an appropriate script only intensifies Drysdale's resolve. He produces what he regards as the perfect solution: a one-way ticket to Sweden on a tanker. The line is pure Raymond Bailey, delivered with the grim satisfaction of a banker who has identified both the problem and its most economical remedy. The subsequent arrival of Mr. Chapman and the actress herself transforms the confrontation into a more complex social encounter. Chapman is summoned and instructed to remain standing, a small assertion of Drysdale's authority that underscores the power imbalance between banker and studio executive. Drysdale's opening statement is deceptively polite. He understands that Chapman has experienced difficulty finding suitable material for his Swedish star. Chapman acknowledges the difficulty, only to be presented with Drysdale's proposed solution of travel and adventure, an idea that is immediately recognized as the one-way ticket previously mentioned. The timing of the interruption is impeccable. Before Chapman can fully absorb the implications, Drysdale announces that the actress has been brought along so that she may hear the proposal directly. Ulla Bergström's entrance is staged with the careful attention to first impressions that the series often reserves for significant guest characters. She is introduced first to Miss Hathaway and then to the real boss of the studio, our banker Mr. Milburn Drysdale. The formality of the introduction combined with Bergström's gracious response, "It's a great pleasure. I've heard such wonderful things about you," establishes her as a figure of European refinement and professional courtesy. In the performance implications of the role, the actress portraying Bergström, Julie Newmar, in the original broadcast would have brought a statuesque elegance and a carefully modulated accent that immediately set her apart from the more familiar rhythms of the Clampett household and the bank offices. The contrast is deliberate and essential to the comedy that will follow. Drysdale's attempt to present his idea is met with Chapman's rapid intervention. The studio executive dismisses the proposal as terrible and assures Bergström that something appropriate will be found no matter how long it takes. The exchange reveals Chapman's protective stance toward his star and his commitment to the language of artistic integrity. When Drysdale presses the point of 8 weeks at $10,000 a week, Chapman delivers one of the sequence's most memorable speeches. "Larry, we're making movies, not packing crates. We're dealing with sensitive creative artists. You can't turn our dreams on an assembly line." The rhetoric is elevated, almost theatrical, and it is immediately undercut by Drysdale's dry observation that the sentiment is beautiful and happens to reflect Chapman's personal feelings. The moment is a perfect illustration of the series' ability to allow pretension its full expression before gently puncturing it. Bergström herself then introduces the dramatic possibility that will drive the subsequent narrative. She expresses a desire to play the part of a poor sharecropper's daughter, a role that would require her to adopt a backwards accent. The request is presented with genuine enthusiasm. "I can do it. I know I can. Oh, it's a real challenge. Please give me the chance." Chapman's reluctance is rooted in practical concerns about authenticity and preparation time. In a private aside with Drysdale, he explains that Bergstrom, trained in the European School of Realism, wishes to immerse herself in the backwoods environment to acquire the necessary accent and mannerisms. The projected delay of an additional 3 months at $10,000 a week is presented as an intolerable prospect. It is at this critical juncture that Miss Jane Hathaway offers the solution that will unite the two narrative strands of the composite episodes. With characteristic initiative and quiet intelligence, she suggests that Miss Bergstrom might stay with the Clampetts, thereby acquiring the authentic speech and mannerisms while the picture is being prepared. The proposal is received with immediate enthusiasm by Drysdale, who recognizes both its practical value and its potential to remove a costly problem from his immediate concern. His promise to discuss a raise with Miss Hathaway at a later time is delivered with the breezy confidence of a man who has just been handed an elegant resolution. The exchange between Drysdale and Chapman that follows, filled with mutual declarations of genius and reciprocal denial, is a delightful study in the social rituals of Hollywood and banking alike, where credit for a good idea is both claimed and deflected with practiced ease. The sequence as a whole operates on multiple levels of comedy and social observation. At its surface, it is a conflict between fiscal responsibility and artistic temperament, with Drysdale representing the former and Chapman the latter. Yet the writing never allows either position to become purely villainous or purely heroic. Drysdale's outrage is grounded in a legitimate concern for the Clampett fortune, which he regards as a sacred trust. Chapman's defense of his star is rooted in a genuine, if somewhat self-serving, commitment to the creative process. Miss Hathaway occupies the mediating position, her practical suggestion bridging the gap between the two men and, more importantly, between the world of the studio and the world of the Clampetts. In the cultural landscape of the 1960s, the portrayal of a European actress seeking authenticity through immersion carried particular resonance. The decade saw an increasing interest in method acting and realistic performance styles influenced by both American practitioners and European cinematic traditions. Bergstrom's desire to live among the Clampetts in order to capture the speech and mannerisms of a sharecropper's daughter reflects this broader artistic current. Even as the series treats the impulse with affectionate amusement, the comedy arises not from mocking the desire for authenticity but from the inevitable gap between the romanticized notion of the backwoods and the actual reality of the Clampett household, which is both more ordinary and more extraordinary than any outsider might expect. Raymond Bailey's performance as Drysdale is essential to the sequence's success. His ability to convey mounting fiscal panic through tightly controlled gestures and precisely timed outbursts allows the audience to appreciate the character's genuine distress without losing sympathy for him. Nancy Culp's Miss Hathaway remains the model of competent professionalism, her suggestion emerging as the product of careful observation rather than impulsive inspiration. The guest performances of the studio executive and the Swedish actress provide the necessary contrast, their more formal diction and elevated concerns highlighting the grounded practicality of the regular cast. The financial details are handled with the series' characteristic blend of specificity and exaggeration. The repeated invocation of $10,000 a week, the calculation of 8 weeks of idle salary, and the projected 3-month delay all serve to make the abstract concept of waste concrete and comic. In an era when the average American family income was a fraction of such figures, the sums involved would have registered as almost fantastical, reinforcing the sense that the world of the studio operates according to rules that ordinary logic cannot fully comprehend. As the sequence draws toward its conclusion, the decision to place Ulla Bergstrom with the Clampetts is presented as a triumph of practical intelligence. Drysdale's satisfaction is palpable, Chapman's resistance is overcome, and Miss Hathaway's quiet competence is once again affirmed. The stage is thereby set for the culture clash comedy that will define the subsequent episodes as the refined European actress encounters the unvarnished authenticity of the Clampett family. In preparing that encounter, the series once again demonstrates its gift for constructing narrative bridges that feel both inevitable and surprising. The enduring strength of this material lies in its refusal to resolve the tension between art and commerce in simplistic terms. Drysdale is not wrong to be concerned about the expenditure of Clampett money. Chapman is not wrong to defend the needs of a sensitive performer. Miss Hathaway is not wrong to seek a solution that serves both interests. In allowing each perspective its due while still generating substantial comedy from their collision, the Beverly Hillbillies reaffirms its commitment to a humane and generous vision of human folly. The Swedish sensation will soon find herself in the Clampett mansion tape recorder in hand, ready to absorb the speech and mannerisms of a world she has only imagined. The results of that absorption will provide some of the series' most delightful moments of misunderstanding and unexpected connection. In the larger arc of Season 4, this studio sequence serves as a crucial pivot, linking the personal restlessness of Jethro to the broader institutional absurdities of Hollywood and banking. It reminds the audience that the Clampett's wealth is not an abstract fortune but a concrete resource that others seek to manage, protect, and occasionally exploit. Drysdale's vigilance, however comically expressed, is ultimately an expression of loyalty to the family whose interests he is sworn to defend. That loyalty, tested and reaffirmed through countless episodes, remains one of the series' most consistent and appealing themes. The writing throughout the sequence is marked by a careful attention to rhythm and escalation. Each revelation of the financial cost builds upon the previous one, creating a sense of mounting pressure that is released only by Miss Hathaway's inspired suggestion. The dialogue is economical yet rich in implication, allowing the performers to inhabit their characters fully without the need for excessive exposition. In the hands of the skilled ensemble, the material achieves that rare balance of sharp observation and genuine affection that defines the best of the Beverly Hillbillies. As the scene concludes and the arrangements for Bergstrom's stay are set in motion, the audience is left with a clear sense of anticipation. The polished world of the studio is about to collide with the unpolished authenticity of the Clampett household. The results of that collision will test assumptions on every side, generate substantial comedy, and ultimately reaffirm the series' central conviction that human connection, however unlikely, remains possible across even the widest of cultural divides. In establishing the conditions for that connection, the Mammoth Studios sequence stands as a model of efficient character-driven storytelling, and a testament to the enduring craft of the program that produced it. The arrival of Ulla Bergstrom at the Clampett mansion constitutes one of the most delicately balanced and richly comic sequences in the composite Season 4 material. Having established the fiscal and artistic pressures surrounding the Swedish actress in the polished confines of the bank and the studio, the narrative now transports her into the unvarnished authenticity of the Clampett household, where the family's instinctive hospitality collides with a series of sixtings, gentle accumulating misunderstandings. The result is a masterful demonstration of the series' central comic engine, the collision between European sophistication and rural American directness, rendered with affection, precision, and an unerring eye for the small details that reveal character. The sequence begins with a brief but telling exchange between Jed and Granny concerning the impending guest. Granny, still agitated by Jethro's earlier restlessness, is reminded that a poor little Bergstrom girl is expected. The malapropism is characteristic and immediately endearing. Jed's explanation of why Mr. Drysdale has chosen the Clampetts rather than his own home is delivered with the quiet empathy that defines Buddy Ebsen's performance throughout the series. "We've been through just what she's facing," he observes, "being strangers in Beverly Hills, and that's a miserable feeling. Even worse for her, she's from a foreign nation, a place called Sweden." The line is remarkable for its simple humanity. Jed does not regard the actress as a problem to be managed or a curiosity to be examined. He recognizes in her situation an echo of his own family's displacement and responds with genuine fellow feeling. In the cultural context of the mid-1960s, when American television rarely treated the experience of the immigrant or the outsider with such unforced sympathy, the moment stands as a quiet affirmation of the series' moral center. Ulla's own perspective is introduced through a brief scene in which she contemplates the nature of her assignment. She observes that the Clampetts, despite having struck oil, haven't lost the speech and mannerisms of the Hills, and that by living among them she may learn to portray a sharecropper's daughter with authenticity. The observation is accurate in its essentials, yet it carries the slight abstraction of an outsider approaching a culture as material for study. The tape recorder she has brought with her becomes a small but potent symbol of this observational stance. In the hands of the Clampetts, language is lived rather than recorded. In Ulla's hands, it is something to be captured and later reproduced. The contrast will generate some of the sequence's most delightful comedy. The actual arrival is staged with the series' characteristic attention to first impressions and overlapping energies. Granny's initial assessment is pure Irene Ryan doggy. This must be the little Bergstrom girl. I wouldn't call her little, but she's pretty as a mess of hog jowls. The comparison is both complimentary and utterly rooted in the culinary and agricultural imagery of the hills. Jed's greeting is more formal, yet equally warm. Welcome as a new catalogue, Miss Eula Bergstrom. This is Granny and Mr. Clark. Howdy. The reference to a new catalogue, an object of anticipation and pleasure in rural life, conveys hospitality without pretension. Ellie Mae's simple "Oh howdy" completes the family tableau. The cumulative effect is one of immediate unforced welcome, a quality that the series consistently presents as the Clamperts' greatest social gift. Ulla's first request is modest and practical. She is not hungry but would like to freshen up. Jed's offer of a dip in the cement pond is met with polite confusion. Cement pond? Ain't you never seen one of them? He asks the question carrying the mild surprise of a man who has come to regard the swimming pool as an ordinary feature of daily life. Ulla's admission that she has not provides an early indication of the gap in experience that will define her stay. The moment is handled with gentle humor rather than condescension. The series never mocks Ulla for her unfamiliarity, nor does it mock the Clamperts for their terminology. Instead, it allows the mutual strangeness to generate quiet comedy, and beneath it a sense of potential connection. The practical business of settling the guest reveals further layers of Clampert hospitality and the small frictions of shared domestic space. Ellie Mae's delayed return is explained by the necessity of removing Ralph, a little old grey squirrel, from Ulla's bed. The detail is pure series invention. The Clampert mansion, for all its grandeur, remains a place where animals come and go with the freedom of family members. Granny's practical advice, "Just don't stick your toes out from under the covers at night," is delivered with the matter-of-fact tone of a woman who has long since made peace with such cohabitants. The comedy arises not from the presence of the squirrel itself but from the calm acceptance with which the family regards it, and the mild alarm it might reasonably produce in a guest accustomed to more conventional accommodations. The examination of Ulla's luggage provides one of the sequence's most concentrated examples of cultural misreading. Jed's careful observation, "Excuse me ma'am, but what kind of hide is this alligator?" is followed by Granny's more emphatic confirmation and her subsequent conclusion that Sweden must be crawling with alligators. The family's inference that Ulla must have endured a hard life, forced to fashion her belongings from whatever materials were available, is both logical within their frame of reference and entirely mistaken. The alligator skin suitcase, shoes and other accessories are of course markers of European luxury and fashion rather than indicators of deprivation. Yet the Clamperts' reading of them as evidence of hardship is presented without ridicule. Instead, the series allows the misunderstanding to stand as a testament to the family's tendency to interpret the world through the lens of their own experience, a tendency that is both limiting and deeply human. Granny's anticipation of Ulla's first encounter with Possum further illustrates this dynamic. "It'll be a pleasure to see her face when she ties into her first possum," she declares, the prospect clearly a source of anticipated satisfaction. The line encapsulates the family's confidence in the superiority of their own culinary traditions and their generous desire to share those traditions with a guest they believe to be in need of nourishment and care. In the broader context of the series, such moments affirm the Clamperts' fundamental kindness even as they generate comedy from the gap between intention and likely reception. The parallel thread of Jethro's continued preparations for departure provides a counterpoint to the hospitality extended to Ulla. His declaration that he is running away from home and his careful packing of clothes and lunch are treated with the mild exasperation of a family that has heard such threats before. Ellie Mae's casual farewell "Goodbye cousin. See you when you get back," and Jethro's insistence that this is goodbye forever create a small comic duet of mismatched expectations. The arrival of Ulla herself, however, produces an immediate and decisive change. Upon learning that the newcomer is moving in right here, right in this house, Jethro abandons his escape plans with comical speed. "What's all this nonsense about you running away from home?" Granny demands. Jethro's reply is a rapid series of denials. "Not me, Granny. No, no ma'am, no, never." The transformation is instantaneous and complete. One look at the hickory persuader in Granny's hand. combined with the presence of the attractive guest, is sufficient to restore him to the path of duty. The subsequent display of Jethro's renewed industriousness is pure physical and verbal comedy. Ordered to the cement pond to saw firewood, he applies himself with such vigor that he exhausts the available benches and saws. His proud declaration that he is no stronger than your average mule is both modest and absurdly self-flattering. Ulla's observation of his strength and her request that he demonstrate it for her tape recorder produces a further comic escalation. Jethro's willingness to saw through the recorder itself and his subsequent offer to cipher for her reveal the full extent of his eagerness to impress. The multiplication tables he begins to recite. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8 are delivered with the solemn pride of a young man who regards his limited formal education as a significant accomplishment. In Max, Bay Jr. His performance the moment is both ridiculous and oddly touching. Jethro's desire to be of service and to appear capable is entirely sincere. The family's later assessment of Jethro's labors provides a quiet affirmation of the value they place on productive work. Jed's report that the young man has sawed all the assigned wood and has begun repairing marble benches without being asked is received as evidence of a positive change in attitude. Granny's satisfaction is palpable. The presence of an attractive young woman has at least temporarily achieved what the threat of the woodshed could not: a willing and energetic engagement with household chores. The series allows this development to stand without excessive commentary, trusting the audience to recognize both the comedy and the underlying truth about motivation. A more private conversation between Jed, Granny, and Ulla deepens the portrait of mutual misunderstanding and genuine goodwill. Offered coffee and invited to sit, Ulla explains that she has been in the country for 2 months and has spent that time not a thing just sitting around, and that she is so anxious to go to work. Her desire to act in the movies is met with the family's characteristic directness. When she reveals that she previously worked in the cherry orchard in Stockholm for 18 months and that she has performed the same role across Europe, Jed and Granny interpret the information through the only frame of reference available to them. The cherry orchard becomes in their minds an actual orchard, and Ulla's long tenure there is taken as evidence that she must have had all the cherries she could eat. The conclusion that she was hard up yet managed to look so good is both complimentary and entirely mistaken. The series handles the misreading with exceptional delicacy. There is no corrective lecture, no moment in which the Clamperts are made to appear foolish for their ignorance of Chekhov. Instead, the misunderstanding is allowed to exist as a natural product of different life experiences, and the family's desire to help is never called into question. Ulla's own response to the conversation is marked by a combination of politeness and quiet determination. She declines any suggestion that she return to theatrical work, insisting that she has come to Hollywood to make films and that with the family's help she believes she can succeed in the role of a sharecropper's daughter. The sincerity of her ambition is evident, and the Clamperts respond to it with the same practical goodwill they extend to any guest in need. Jed's assurance that we'll do everything we can is spoken without flourish, yet it carries the full weight of the family's commitment to hospitality. The sequence as a whole is a sustained demonstration of the series' gift for finding comedy in the space between intention and interpretation. Every element, the cement pond, the squirrel in the bed, the alligator skin luggage, the cherry orchard, the renewed vigor of Jethro's chores, contributes to a cumulative portrait of two worlds attempting to understand each other with incomplete information and abundant goodwill. The Clamperts never condescend to their guest, nor does Ulla condescend to her hosts. The humor arises from the gap itself and from the characters' persistent efforts to bridge it according to their own lights. In the performance of these scenes, the regular cast operates with the ease of long familiarity while making space for the guest character to register as a distinct presence. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae remains the embodiment of open-hearted simplicity, her interactions with Ulla marked by unforced friendliness. Irene Ryan's Granny balances protectiveness, curiosity, and the occasional sharp observation without ever losing the fundamental generosity that defines the character. Buddy Ebsen's Jed continues to serve as the quiet moral center, his empathy for Ulla's situation providing the sequence with its emotional grounding. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro, redirected from escape to industrious display, supplies the physical energy and comic escalation that keep the domestic scenes lively. The broader cultural resonance of the material is worth noting. In the mid-1960s, American popular culture was increasingly attentive to questions of authenticity, immersion, and the representation of regional and class identities. Uller's project of living among the Clampetts in order to capture their speech and mannerisms reflects that interest even as the series treats the project with gentle amusement. The Clampetts, for their part, represent a form of authenticity that cannot be reduced to accent or gesture. It is rooted in a coherent set of values: hospitality, work, family, loyalty, that the show consistently presents as worthy of respect. By placing a European actress in their midst and allowing the resulting misunderstandings to unfold without cruelty, the Beverly Hillbillies reaffirms its commitment to a comedy of recognition rather than a comedy of superiority. As the sequence draws to a close, the essential arrangements have been made. Uller is installed in the mansion, her tape recorder at the ready. Jethro has been restored to productive labor. The family has extended its characteristic welcome, complete with offers of grits, salt, belly, and a place to sleep free of nearsighted squirrels. The stage is set for the deeper interactions and further comic complications that will follow. In the careful construction of this arrival and settling in, the series once again demonstrates its ability to generate substantial humor from the simplest of human situations, the effort to make a stranger feel at home and the inevitable affectionate failures of mutual understanding that accompany failures. That effort. The enduring charm of these scenes lies in their refusal to resolve the cultural gap too quickly or too neatly. Uller remains an observer as well as a guest, the Clampetts remain interpreters as well as hosts. The comedy that arises from their interaction is gentle, layered, and rooted in a fundamental respect for both parties. In an era of television that sometimes preferred broader strokes, the Beverly Hillbillies continued to find richness in the small, specific, and deeply human details of cross-cultural encounter. The sharecropper's daughter from Stockholm has arrived, and the Clampett home has opened itself to her with all the warmth and all the misapprehension that the family's particular vision of the world can provide. The results of that opening will continue to unfold with the series' characteristic blend of laughter and quiet grace. Among the many comic devices employed by the Beverly Hillbillies across its long and affectionate run, few prove more reliably delightful than Jethro Bodine's periodic declarations of independence, each of which collapses under the slightest pressure of circumstance or attraction. In the composite Season 4 material, this familiar pattern receives one of its most concentrated and charming expressions. Having already demonstrated his restlessness through the ill-advised trade of the family truck, Jethro now elevates his discontent into a full-scale plan of departure. He will join the French Foreign Legion, a decision framed as the only reliable method of forgetting the oppressive presence of women in general and Granny in particular. The sequence that follows his solemn explanation of the Legion's rigors, his careful packing, his formal goodbyes, and his instantaneous conversion upon catching sight of Ulla Bergstrom constitutes a miniature masterwork of character, comedy, physical suggestion, and the series' enduring insight into the gap between youthful declaration and youthful impulse. The fantasy is introduced in a conversation with Ellie Mae that is both earnest and absurd. Jethro announces that he is running off to join a French Foreign Legion. When Ellie Mae inquires what such an organization might be, he supplies a definition of pure unfiltered conviction. That's where you go to forget a woman. The clarification that the woman in question is Granny produces a perfect comic beat. Ellie Mae's further questions allow Jethro to expand upon the imagined hardships with the solemnity of a young man who has constructed an entire romantic narrative in his mind. He describes a life of fighting and marching, of being tromped on by camels, of dying of thirst in the burning sand whilst the sun scorches you to a cinder. The language is elevated, almost literary in its accumulation of desert miseries, yet it remains entirely consistent with Jethro's limited but enthusiastic grasp of the wider world. When Ellie Mae observes that the prospect sounds awful, Jethro's reply is a model of defensive logic: "I don't make the weather in France." The line is delivered with the mild indignation of a man who has been challenged on a point of factual accuracy rather than on the fundamental wisdom of his plan. In the cultural imagination of the mid-1960s, the French Foreign Legion retained a powerful romantic aura shaped by decades of popular fiction cinema and the lingering glamour of distant disciplined sacrifice. For a character such as Jethro, whose formal education ended with the 6th grade and whose primary exposure to the exotic came through the filtered channels of Beverly Hills life, the Legion represents an ideal solution to emotional difficulty. A place so uniformly harsh that personal troubles must necessarily recede. The series treats this fantasy with complete seriousness on Jethro's part and complete affectionate amusement on the part of the audience. There is no attempt to educate him about the actual history or conditions of the Legion. The comedy resides entirely in the purity of his conviction and the inevitability of its collapse. The practical preparations for departure are handled with the series' characteristic attention to domestic detail. Jethro is discovered packing his clothes and announcing his intention to prepare a lunch for the journey. The family's response is one of mild experienced skepticism. Ellie Mae's farewell is notably casual goodbye cousin. See you when you get back. Jethro's insistence that this is goodbye forever is met with an equally calm okay bye forever. The exchange captures the family's long familiarity with Jethro's dramatic declarations. They have heard such announcements before. They expect the young man to return, and they see no need to invest the moment with unnecessary emotion. Donna Douglas's delivery of Ellie Mae's lines is particularly effective in its understatement, allowing the comedy to emerge from the mismatch between Jethro's solemnity and the family's tranquil acceptance. The arrival of Ulla Bergstrom intervenes at the precise moment when Jethro's resolve appears most firm. Informed that the newcomer is the girl that's moving in with us and that the arrangement is permanent and domestic. Moving in right here, right in this house, Jethro undergoes an instantaneous and total conversion. The speed of the transformation is essential to the comedy. There is no gradual reconsideration, no thoughtful weighing of alternatives. The mere fact of an attractive young woman taking up residence under the same roof is sufficient to erase all thoughts of desert hardship and camel-inflicted injury. When Granny confronts him about the nonsense of running away, Jethro's denial is rapid, emphatic, and comically absolute. Not me, Granny. No, no ma'am, no, never. The repetition functions as both verbal comedy and character revelation. Jethro is not merely changing his mind, he is actively erasing the previous intention from the record of acceptable discourse. Granny's satisfaction is immediate and practical. Observing the effect of the hickory persuader in combination with the new presence in the household, she concludes that one look at this hickory persuader and he changed his mind. All he needed was one good look. The line is pure Irene Ryan, dry, definitive, and entirely confident in the efficacy of both discipline and circumstance. Yet the deeper comic truth is that the hickory stick, while useful, is secondary to the attraction of Ulla. Jethro's renewed willingness to work is not the product of fear alone, it is the product of a sudden and powerful incentive to remain. The subsequent display of industriousness provides the sequence with its physical and escalating comedy. Ordered to saw firewood by the cement pond, Jethro applies himself with such energy that he exhausts the available materials. Jed's later report that the young man has run out of benches and has run out of saws too is delivered with the mild wonder of a man who has watched a transformation without fully understanding its cause. Jethro's own assessment of his strength, no stronger than your average mule, is both self-deprecating and absurdly proud. When Ulla expresses admiration and requests a demonstration for her tape recorder, Jethro's eagerness reaches a new peak. His offer to saw through the recorder itself and his subsequent decision to cipher for her instead reveal the full extent of his desire to impress. The multiplication tables that follow: 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, are recited with the solemn concentration of a young man presenting his most impressive credentials. In Max Baer Jr.'s performance, the moment balances physical energy, verbal simplicity, and an almost touching sincerity. Jethro is not performing sophistication, he is offering the best of what he believes himself to possess. The sequence's deeper resonance lies in its portrait of youthful motivation. Jethro's initial plan to join the Legion is framed as an escape from the constraints of female authority, yet it collapses the moment a different form of female presence appears. The series does not judge this inconsistency harshly. Instead, it presents it as a natural and even endearing feature of a young man whose impulses remain largely unexamined. The French Foreign Legion fantasy is not a serious commitment to a life of discipline, it is a romantic solution to an immediate emotional discomfort. When a more appealing solution presents itself in the form of Ulla's residence in the household, the fantasy is discarded without regret or reflection. The speed of the discard is the source of the comedy, and the absence of self-awareness is the source of the character's lasting charm. In the broader context of the series, Jethro's periodic escape attempts serve a consistent thematic function. They allow the show to explore the tension between the young man's desire for independence and the gravitational pull of family and circumstance. In nearly every instance, the pull proves stronger. The mansion, for all its unfamiliar luxuries, remains a place of belonging. The presence of an attractive guest simply reinforces that belonging by adding a new and compelling reason to stay. The series' refusal to allow Jethro any lasting success in his bids for independence is not a denial of growth. It is an affirmation of the value of the family unit that contains and ultimately redirects his energies. The performance dynamics of the sequence are worth particular attention. Max Bayer, Jr. must navigate a rapid emotional arc from solemn determination to casual farewell to instantaneous conversion to enthusiastic labor without losing the fundamental consistency of the character. He achieves this by grounding each phase in the same essential quality and absolute commitment to the emotion of the moment. When Jethro believes he is leaving forever, he believes it completely. When he decides to stay, he commits to that decision with equal completeness. The absence of transitional doubt is both the comic engine and the characterological truth. Irene Ryan's Granny observes the transformation with the satisfaction of a woman who has once again seen the household order restored. Buddy Ebsen's Jed registers the change with quiet approval, content to accept the result without probing the cause too deeply. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae provides the calm counterpoint, her casual goodbyes and later observations underscoring the family's experienced tolerance for Jethro's dramas. The historical and cultural framing of the Legion fantasy adds a further layer of gentle satire. By the mid-1960s, the romantic image of the French Foreign Legion had been shaped by films, novels, and popular legend into a symbol of masculine escape and redemptive suffering. Jethro's version of that legend is filtered through his particular consciousness, the camels, the burning sand, the scorching sun, and the explicit purpose of forgetting a woman. The series does not debunk the legend, it simply places it in the mouth of a character whose understanding of the world remains partial and enthusiastic. The result is a comedy of appropriation in which a global romantic myth is localized and personalized until it becomes both ridiculous and oddly poignant. As the sequence concludes, Jethro has been fully reintegrated into the household economy of labor and presence. The French Foreign Legion has been abandoned without ceremony. The packing is undone, the goodbyes are forgotten, and the young man's energies are redirected toward the sawing of wood and the impressing of the new guest. The conversion is total and the comedy is complete. In the careful construction of this arc from fantasy to preparation to collapse to renewed industry, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its gift for extracting substantial humor from the smallest and most human of inconsistencies. The enduring appeal of the material lies in its refusal to condescend to Jethro even as it laughs at him. His desire to escape is treated as genuine within the moment of its expression. His conversion is treated as equally genuine. The series does not require him to achieve self-knowledge or lasting change. It simply allows him to move from one absolute conviction to the next, secure in the knowledge that the family will remain the constant that contains his fluctuations. In an era of television that sometimes demanded more dramatic growth from its comic characters, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained a different and equally valid commitment to the comedy of recurrence, the humor of the familiar pattern, endlessly renewed, and the quiet affirmation that belonging, however imperfectly understood by the young, remains a more powerful force than any desert fantasy of escape. Jethro Bodine will not join the French Foreign Legion. He will not forget Granny, nor will he forget the new presence that has made forgetting unnecessary. He will saw wood, recite his multiplication tables, and remain exactly where he is most able to generate both laughter and affection. In that remaining and in the swift complete abandonment of his grandest plan of departure, the sequence finds its perfect comic resolution and its lasting human truth. The extended sequence of hospitality that follows Ulla Bergstrom's arrival at the Clampett mansion stands as one of the purest and most sustained expressions of the series' central comic and moral vision. In these scenes, the family's instinctive generosity collides repeatedly with the incomplete information each party possesses about the other, generating a cascade of misunderstandings that never curdle into unkindness. The offer of grits and salt belly, the invitation to the cement pond, the removal of a near-sighted squirrel named Ralph from the guest bed, the solemn examination of alligator skin luggage, and the family's interpretation of the cherry orchard as a literal place of agricultural labor, all of these details accumulate into a portrait of cross-cultural encounter that is both richly funny and quietly moving. The comedy arises not from the superiority of one worldview over another, but from the persistent, good-hearted effort of each side to make sense of the other according to the only terms it knows. The practical business of welcoming a guest begins with Granny's characteristic directness. Having assessed Ulla as pretty as a mess of hog jowls, she immediately turns to the question of sustenance. Come in, come in. I got a mess of grits and salt belly on the stove. The invitation is absolute and unadorned. In the culinary vocabulary of the hills, grits and salt belly represent both nourishment and care. To offer them is to extend the fundamental hospitality of the household. Ulla's polite decline, she is not actually hungry and would prefer to freshen up, does not diminish the sincerity of the offer. The series allows the moment to stand without forcing a comic confrontation over the food itself. Instead, the focus shifts to the next available expression of welcome, Jed's suggestion that she might enjoy a dip in the cement pond. The terminology of the cement pond is one of the series' most enduring and affectionate linguistic markers. For the Clamparts, the swimming pool has never shed its original descriptive name. Jed's question, cement pond, ain't you never seen one of them, carries the mild surprise of a man who has come to regard the feature as ordinary. Ulla's admission that she has not provides an early and gentle indication of the experiential gap between host and guest. The moment is handled with complete absence of condescension. The series does not pause to explain the pool's actual nature, nor does it require Ulla to express wonder or superiority. The mutual unfamiliarity is simply allowed to exist, generating a quiet smile rather than a broad joke. The practical arrangements for Ulla's comfort introduce one of the sequence's most charming domestic details. Ellie Mae's delayed appearance is explained by the necessity of removing Ralph from the guest bed. Sorry to be so long, Miss Ulla, but I had to get Ralph out of your bed. The clarification that Ralph is just a little old gray squirrel but getting a little nearsighted is delivered with the calm practicality of a young woman for whom the presence of animals in the house is entirely unremarkable. Granny's subsequent advice, just don't stick your toes out from under the covers at night, completes the portrait of a household in which the boundaries between human and animal space remain permeable. The comedy resides in the matter-of-fact tone with which these arrangements are discussed. There is no apology for the squirrel's presence, only a practical warning about its imperfect eyesight. In the context of a European actress accustomed to more conventional accommodations, the detail registers as both absurd and oddly endearing. The examination of Ulla's luggage provides the sequence with its most concentrated example of interpretive mismatch. Jed's careful, almost hesitant observation, excuse me ma'am, but what kind of hide is this alligator, is followed by Granny's more definitive confirmation. The family's subsequent conclusion is reached with impeccable internal logic. Anyone forced to fashion a suitcase, and even shoes from alligator hide, must have endured significant hardship. That Sweden must be crawling with alligators, Granny declares. She must have had a hard life. The inference is both completely wrong and entirely consistent with the Clamparts' experience of material scarcity and resourcefulness. Alligator skin in their frame of reference is not a marker of luxury but evidence of necessity. The series refuses to correct the misunderstanding through any external narration or superior character. Instead, it allows the misreading to stand as a testament to the family's tendency to interpret the unfamiliar through the lens of their own history. The result is comedy of a particularly gentle and respectful kind. Granny's anticipation of Ulla's first encounter with possum extends this dynamic into the realm of culinary expectation. It'll be a pleasure to see her face when she ties into her first possum, she announces, the prospect clearly a source of anticipated satisfaction. The line encapsulates the family's confidence in the excellence of their own foodways and their generous desire to share that excellence with a guest they believe to be in need. There is no hint of irony in the delivery. Granny genuinely believes that the introduction of possum will constitute an act of kindness. The audience, of course, recognizes the likely gap between intention and reception, and that recognition is the source of the humor. Yet the series never undercuts the fundamental goodwill that motivates the offer. The parallel conversation in which Jed and Granny attempt to learn more about their guest deepens the portrait of mutual incomprehension. Offered coffee and invited to sit, Ola explains that she has been in the country for 2 months, has done not a thing, just sitting around, and is so anxious to go to work. Her ambition to act in the movies is met with direct and practical interest. When she reveals that she previously performed in the Cherry Orchard in Stockholm for 18 months, and that she has taken the same role across Europe, the Clampetts interpret the information through the only available framework. The Cherry Orchard becomes an actual orchard. Ulla's long tenure there is taken as evidence that she must have been pretty good at the work and that she probably got all the cherries she could eat. The further conclusion that she was so poor and yet looked so good is both complimentary and entirely mistaken. The series handles this extended misreading with exceptional delicacy. There is no moment of corrective revelation, no scene in which the Clampetts are made to feel foolish for their ignorance of Chekhov, or the European theatrical tradition. The misunderstanding is permitted to exist as a natural product of different lives, and the family's desire to be of assistance remains unchallenged. Ulla's own responses throughout these exchanges are marked by a combination of polished courtesy and quiet determination. She declines any suggestion that she might return to the stage, insisting that she has come to Hollywood to make motion pictures and that with the family's help she can succeed in the challenging role of a sharecropper's daughter. The sincerity of her ambition registers clearly, and the Clampetts respond to it with the same practical goodwill they extend to any guest who expresses a need. Jed's assurance that we'll do everything we can is spoken without rhetorical flourish, yet it carries the full weight of the household's commitment to hospitality. The sequence's broader achievement lies in its sustained demonstration that cultural misunderstanding need not produce alienation. Every misreading of the cement pond, of the squirrel, of the luggage, of the cherry orchard is accompanied by an equivalent gesture of welcome and care. The Clampetts do not understand Ulla's background, yet they open their home to her without reservation. Ulla does not share their frame of reference, yet she accepts their hospitality with grace. The comedy arises from the gap, but the underlying emotion is one of connection attempted in good faith. In the landscape of mid-1960s television, such a portrayal of cross-cultural encounter was by no means guaranteed. Many programs preferred broader strokes of caricature or more pointed satire. The Beverly Hillbillies chooses instead a comedy of recognition, in which the audience is invited to smile at the misunderstandings while still respecting the essential decency of everyone involved. The performances in these scenes operate with the ease of a long-established ensemble, making space for a significant guest presence. Buddy Ebsen's Jed continues to serve as the quiet moral center, his empathy for Ulla's displacement providing the sequence with its emotional grounding. Irene Ryan's Granny balances curiosity, protectiveness, and the occasional sharp observation without ever losing the fundamental generosity that defines the character. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae remains the embodiment of open-hearted simplicity, her interactions with the guest marked by unforced friendliness and practical helpfulness. The actress portraying Ulla must navigate the delicate position of being both observer and observed, maintaining a European poise while remaining open to the unexpected realities of the household. The success of the sequence depends upon the audience's ability to hold both perspectives in view simultaneously, and the writing and performances make that dual vision possible. In the larger arc of the composite episodes, these scenes of hospitality and misunderstanding serve a crucial preparatory function. They establish the Clampett home as a place of genuine welcome, even when that welcome is imperfectly informed. They introduce the specific comic misunderstandings that will continue to generate humor as Ulla's stay progresses. And they reaffirm the series' central conviction that human connection remains possible across even substantial differences of background and experience. The grits may go uneaten, the cement pond may remain unfamiliar, the alligator luggage may be misread as evidence of hardship, and the cherry orchard may be understood as a place of fruit rather than drama. Yet the door remains open, the bed is prepared, and the offer of care is extended without condition. The enduring charm of the material lies in its refusal to resolve the cultural gap too neatly or too quickly. The series does not require the Clampetts to acquire sudden knowledge of European theatre, nor does it require Ulla to abandon her observational stance. The comedy of their interaction is allowed to unfold at its own pace, rooted in the specific details of food, animals, luggage, and language. In an era that sometimes favored more rapid or more pointed forms of humor, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained its commitment to a slower, more accumulative, and ultimately more humane comedy of manners. The sharecropper's daughter from Stockholm has been received with grits warnings about near-sighted squirrels and the solemn assessment of her alligator skin belongings. The hospitality is real, the misunderstandings are real. And in the space between the two, the series finds both its laughter and its lasting grace. The quiet determination with which Jed Clampett decides to advance Ulla Bergstrom's professional prospects constitutes one of the most characteristic and affecting expressions of his particular form of wisdom. Having absorbed the family's collective misunderstanding of her background, the literal reading of the cherry orchard, the assumption of hardship inferred from alligator skin luggage, the belief that she stands in need of both material and occupational assistance, Jed concludes that the most practical assistance he can offer is to secure her employment at the very studio that has thus far failed to utilize her talents. The sequence that unfolds from this decision is a masterclass in well-intentioned intervention, gentle comedy of errors, and the series' enduring faith in the power of simple direct action to cut through institutional complication. The impetus for Jed's plan emerges from a private conversation with Granny in which the two elders assess their guest situation. The revelation that Ulla has spent 18 months in the cherry orchard and has performed the same work across Europe has already been processed through the Clampett frame of reference as evidence of agricultural labor and relative poverty. Jed's subsequent observation that she is anxious to go to work and that her chosen field is motion pictures leads him to a characteristically practical conclusion. If the young woman wishes to act in the movies and if the family now understands her to be a sharecropper's daughter of Swedish origin, then the logical step is to place her before the appropriate authority and request that she be given a role. The elegance of the plan lies in its complete absence of sophistication. Jed does not propose to navigate the complexities of studio contracts, script development, or artistic temperament. He simply intends to ask. The decision to telephone Mr. Chapman and invite him to the mansion is presented with the calm confidence of a man who has long since learned that direct conversation often accomplishes more than elaborate maneuvering. Jed's private assessment of the odds, I grant you it's 1,000,000 to 1 chance, but stranger things have happened, reveals both his realistic understanding of the difficulties and his willingness to proceed nonetheless. In the moral universe of the series, the long shot is never a reason for inaction when the cause is just and the intention is pure. Buddy Ebsen's delivery of these lines is marked by the quiet understatement that defines the character. There is no rhetorical flourish, no self-congratulation, only the steady resolve of a man who has decided that something ought to be done and that he is in a position to do it. The parallel activity of Jethro, now fully redirected from escape fantasies to enthusiastic labor, provides a running comic counterpoint. Granny's satisfaction at the young man's renewed industriousness is palpable. She observes that he has sharpened 24 knives and a barn full of tools, and that he appears happy and contented when supplied with abundant chores. The presence of Ulla has clearly supplied a motivation that the threat of the woodshed alone could not sustain. When Ulla herself requests Jethro's assistance with a line of dialogue from her prospective script, "I have got a powerful hankering for you, mister," the resulting scene is pure series comedy. Jethro's initial reading is stiff and self-conscious. His second attempt, delivered from memory, is only marginally more natural. Granny's dry observation that she told you that boy didn't know what sex he was opposite lands with perfect timing, encapsulating both her ongoing assessment of Jethro's romantic sophistication and the family's collective amusement at his efforts to impress. The arrival of Mr. Chapman at the mansion sets the stage for the central intervention. Jed's approach is a model of straightforward advocacy. He draws Chapman's attention to that little girl sitting over yonder and proceeds to identify her as a sharecropper's daughter out of Sweden named Ulla Bergstrom. The request that follows is framed as a personal favor. "I'd consider it a big favor if you was to put her in the movie." The language is plain, the appeal is direct. And the underlying assumption that a word from Jed will carry significant weight is both accurate within the series' established power dynamics and gently comic in its simplicity. When Chapman hesitates, Jed adds the further inducement of a detail that reflects his understanding of the practical motivations that govern studio life, even as it underscores his own disinterested desire to help. The success of the intervention is swift and complete. Chapman agrees to the arrangement and Ulla is informed that she is to accompany him to the studio at once. Her confusion is understandable and affecting. "I don't understand what is going on," she admits, the polished composure of her earlier scenes giving way to genuine bewilderment. Jed's reassurance is characteristically simple: she is going to the studio to be in the movies. Granny's response is one of warm approval mixed with practical contingency. "That's sweet of you, Jed. I hope she gets to be a star." "Me too, Granny. But just in case, let's plant us a cherry orchard out back." The final suggestion is pure Clampett logic. If the young woman's previous livelihood was derived from a cherry orchard, then the family will ensure that such a resource is available on their own property should the motion picture career fail to materialize. The line encapsulates the family's simultaneous faith in Jed's intervention and their readiness to provide a material safety net rooted in their own understanding of useful work. The sequence's deeper resonance lies in its portrait of Jed Clampett as an agent of unforced benevolence. Unlike Mr. Drysdale, whose interventions are invariably calculated to protect or increase the Clampett fortune, Jed acts from a simple desire to be of use to a guest he believes to be in need. He does not inquire into the intricacies of Ulla's existing contract, nor does he pause to consider the possible complications of presenting her to Chapman as a sharecropper's daughter. He sees a young woman who wishes to work, he believes he understands her background, and he takes the most direct available action to advance her prospects. The series allows this simplicity to stand as a form of wisdom rather than a form of naivety. In the complicated world of studio politics and contractual obligation, Jed's directness achieves what more sophisticated maneuvering has failed to accomplish. The cultural and historical framing of the intervention adds further layers of gentle satire. By the mid-1960s, the Hollywood studio system was already in advanced transition, with long-term contracts giving way to more fluid arrangements and European performers occupying an increasingly visible place in American film. Jed's approach to this world, treating the studio executive as a neighbor who might be asked to favor, collides productively with the actual power structures in play. Because the Clampett fortune underwrites the studio's operations through Drysdale's bank, Jed's request carries an authority he himself does not fully calculate. The comedy arises from the gap between his modest self-presentation and the actual weight of his influence, a gap the series has exploited with consistent success across multiple seasons. The performances in the sequence operate with the precision of an ensemble that understands both the humor and the heart of the material. Buddy Ebsen's Jed remains the calm center, his advocacy for Ulla delivered without urgency or self-importance. Irene Ryan's Granny supplies the practical counterpoint, her suggestion of the cherry orchard rooting the family's support in the tangible world of agricultural labor. Max Baer, Jr.'s Jethro, still laboring under the dual motivations of chore completion and romantic display, provides the physical and verbal energy that keeps the domestic scenes lively. The guest performances of Chapman and Ulla must navigate the delicate transition from the polished world of the studio to the unpolished sincerity of the Clampett household, a transition the writing and direction handle with characteristic care. In the larger architecture of the composite episodes, Jed's intervention serves as a crucial narrative hinge. It resolves, at least temporarily, the professional predicament that brought Ulla to the mansion in the first place. It demonstrates the family's capacity to act on behalf of a guest, according to their own lights. And it sets the stage for the subsequent complications that will arise when the full implications of the arrangement become clear. The cherry orchard may or may not be planted. Ulla may or may not achieve the stardom Granny hopes for her. Yet the essential action has been taken, and it has been taken in the spirit of uncomplicated goodwill that defines Jed Clampett at his best. The enduring appeal of the sequence lies in its refusal to complicate Jed's motives or to punish his misunderstanding. The series does not require him to acquire a sudden education in European drama or studio finance. It simply allows him to act on the information he possesses, and it allows that action to produce a positive result. In an era of television that sometimes favored more cynical or more convoluted forms of plotting, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained its commitment to a comedy of good intentions in which the simplest and most direct gestures of assistance retain the power to cut through complexity. From the family's misreading of the cherry orchard to Jed's successful petition on Ulla's behalf, the sequence traces a complete arc of misunderstanding transformed into useful action. The sharecropper's daughter from Stockholm has been given her opportunity, and the Clampett family has once again demonstrated that hospitality in their hands extends beyond the offering of food and shelter to the practical advancement of a guest's most cherished ambitions. The transition from the domestic and professional concerns surrounding Ulla Bergström to the next major thread of the composite Season 4 narrative is accomplished with the series' characteristic efficiency and thematic coherence. Having witnessed Jethro's temporary redirection into productive labor under the dual influences of Granny's discipline and Ulla's presence, the audience now observes the young man seeking employment beyond the household. The job he secures cleaning out Mr. Drysdale's garage for the sum of $15 appears at first to be a straightforward extension of the work ethic Granny has so vigorously promoted. Yet the discovery he makes while performing that labor will redirect his energies once again, this time toward a new and elaborate fantasy of sophistication, the life of an international playboy as prescribed by a stack of discarded magazines titled Swinger. The sequence that unfolds from this discovery is a sustained and richly detailed exploration of aspirational folly, the comic appropriation of popular culture, and the enduring gap between Jethro's self-perception and the reality of his circumstances. The news of Jethro's employment reaches the family through Jed, who reports the development with quiet satisfaction. Granny's initial response is one of relief and approval. The young man has hired himself out, and the work is practical, local and compensated. When the wage is revealed to be $15, Granny's reaction is a mixture of astonishment and calculation. Back home, she observes she could feed 5 young'uns a good-sized meal on what you give 'em in weekly allowance. The contrast between the modest family stipend and the garage cleaning wage underscores both the altered economic reality of Beverly Hills life and Jethro's growing sense that he requires more substantial resources to pursue his ambitions. Jed's mild hope that the work will keep his mind off of not having a girlfriend is spoken with the tempered optimism of a man who has watched many such hopes dissolve. In the moment, however, the employment appears to be a positive development, a channeling of restless energy into productive and remunerated activity. The true nature of the discovery is revealed in a subsequent scene of pure series comedy. Jethro returns with a stack of magazines rescued from the garage, announcing that he has found the key to fame, fortune and females. The source is not the city dump as Jed initially assumes, but Mr. Drysdale's own garage where the publications had been awaiting disposal. The title Swinger, a magazine for international playboys, is delivered with the solemn excitement of a young man who believes he has encountered a definitive guide to the life he desires. In the cultural landscape of the mid-1960s, such publications occupied a complicated place in the popular imagination, offering a vision of masculine sophistication built around consumer goods, romantic technique and carefully curated leisure. For Jethro, whose exposure to such material has been limited, the magazines represent not a commercial product but a handbook of transformation. The family's reaction to the discovery is immediate and characteristic. Jed's skepticism is mild but firm. Jethro ain't no international playboy, and the reading of such material does not alter that fundamental fact. Granny's potential response is anticipated with enough alarm that Jed instructs the young man to keep the magazines out of her sight. The concern is practical and visual. Granny, Jed observes, ain't never seen so much girl in so little suit. The line encapsulates both the family's protective instincts and the series' careful navigation of the boundaries of contemporary popular culture. The Beverly Hillbillies acknowledges the existence of the Playboy-adjacent aesthetic without endorsing or fully displaying it, allowing the comedy to reside in Jethro's enthusiastic appropriation rather than in any explicit content. Jethro's engagement with the magazines is total and immediate. He begins to recite statistics and prescriptions with the same solemn concentration he once brought to his multiplication tables. 65% of us eat stuff like tornadoes, filet mignon and lobster. 36% of international playboys has 2 or more martinis for lunch. 85% of international playboys drive sporty cars. 78% have their own hi-fi stereos. And 98% have more than 3 girlfriends. The language of percentage and prescription is absorbed without question. For Jethro, these figures constitute not marketing claims but empirical truths about the life he intends to lead. His decision to begin modestly, "I'm gonna start with just 2 girlfriends," is delivered with the practical planning of a young man who recognizes that even destiny must be approached in stages. The concept of the bachelor pad emerges as the central architectural expression of the new identity. Informed by the magazines that 99% of all international playboys has their own, Jethro determines that the parlor will henceforth be reserved for the entertainment of women, the playing of hi-fi stereo and the preparation of martinis in the fireplace. The declaration that everybody's got to stay out of the parlor is met with the family's predictable resistance. Yet Jethro's conviction remains unshaken. He has $15 from his garage cleaning wages, and he regards this sum as sufficient capital for the initial stages of transformation. The gap between the available resources and the prescribed lifestyle is absolute, and that gap is the primary engine of the comedy that will follow. The sequence's deeper achievement lies in its portrait of aspirational reading as a form of self-invention. Jethro does not approach the swinger magazines with critical distance or selective appropriation. He accepts their vision of the international playboy as a complete and authoritative program, and he sets about implementing it with the same energy he once brought to the sawing of wood or the trading of the family truck. The series treats this acceptance with complete seriousness on the character's part and complete affectionate amusement on the part of the audience. There is no attempt to educate Jethro about the commercial or fantastical nature of the material. The comedy resides in the purity of his commitment and the inevitable collision between that commitment and the practical realities of Clampett life. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the figure of the playboy occupied a prominent and contested place in the American imagination. Popularized by magazines, films, and the public personas of certain celebrities, the ideal combined consumer sophistication, romantic success, and a carefully performed detachment from conventional domesticity. For a character such as Jethro, whose understanding of the wider world remains partial and enthusiastic, the ideal offers a ready-made solution to the problem of romantic and social identity. The series does not debunk the ideal so much as it localizes it, placing it in the hands of a young man whose resources, vocabulary, and living situation render every prescription comic. The result is a satire of aspiration that remains fundamentally kind, rooted in the recognition that the desire to transform oneself according to external models is a deeply human impulse. The performances in the sequence operate with the precision of an ensemble that understands both the humor and the pathos of the material. Max Baer Jr. As Jethro must convey absolute conviction without any hint of self-awareness, a task he accomplishes by grounding every declaration in the same earnest energy that defines the character across the series. Buddy Ebsen's Jed provides the quiet counterpoint of experience. His skepticism tempered by affection and his practical concerns never allowed to curdle into dismissal. Irene Ryan's Granny remains the anticipated force of correction, her off-screen presence sufficiently powerful that the mere possibility of her discovering the magazines generates its own comedy. The supporting reactions of Ellie Mae and the occasional interventions of Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway further situate Jethro's new enthusiasm within the larger social world of the series. As the sequence draws toward its conclusion, the essential elements of the new fantasy have been established. Jethro has employment capital, a stack of authoritative magazines, and a clear program of self-transformation. He has identified the parlor as the initial site of the bachelor pad and has begun to imagine the furnishings, the cuisine, the music, and the romantic successes that will follow. The family has registered its skepticism and its protective concern. The stage is set for the practical implementation of the International Playboy program, an implementation that will generate some of the composite episode's most sustained and physical comedy. In the careful construction of this discovery and initial appropriation, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its gift for extracting substantial humor from the collision between popular fantasy and everyday reality. The enduring appeal of the material lies in its refusal to condescend to Jethro's aspirations, even as it laughs at their practical impossibility. The desire to become an international playboy is treated as genuine within the moment of its expression. The statistics and prescriptions are absorbed without irony on the character's part. The series does not require Jethro to achieve critical distance or lasting self-knowledge. It simply allows him to commit fully to the new identity, and then follows the consequences of that commitment with affectionate precision. In an era of television that sometimes demanded more pointed satire or more rapid deflation of its characters' illusions, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained a different and equally valid commitment to the comedy of wholehearted folly, the humor of the elaborate plan pursued with inadequate resources, and the quiet affirmation that the family will remain the constant that contains and ultimately survives every new scheme. Jethro Bodine has found his handbook. The garage has yielded its unexpected treasure. The life of the international playboy lies before him, fully prescribed and entirely misunderstood. In the gap between the prescription and the young man's capacity to fulfill it, the series finds both its laughter and its lasting human truth. The practical implementation of Jethro Bodine's newly discovered identity as an international playboy constitutes one of the most sustained and physically inventive comic sequences in the composite season 4 material. Having absorbed the prescriptions of the swinger magazines with absolute conviction, Jethro now turns to the concrete work of constructing the environment those magazines declare essential: the bachelor pad, limited by both capital and experience. He produces not a sophisticated urban apartment but a portable Playboy parlor assembled from materials scavenged from the city dump and the discarded contents of Mr. Drysdale's garage. The resulting structure, complete with attempted fireplace, icebox of goat's milk and turnip juice, dual record stereo, and ambitions of candlelight and etchings, becomes the stage for a series of romantic quests directed at the kitty cats of the Kitty Cat Club and the beach. The comedy that unfolds is layered, physical, and deeply rooted in the gap between prescribed sophistication and available means. The initial declaration of the bachelor pad program occurs in the family parlor, which Jethro attempts to claim as the primary site of his new lifestyle. Informed by the magazines that 99% of international playboys maintain their own private space, he announces that the parlor will henceforth be reserved for the entertainment of women, the playing of hi-fi stereo, and the preparation of martinis in the fireplace. The family's resistance is immediate and predictable, yet Jethro's conviction remains unshaken. When the practical limitations of the indoor space become apparent, Granny's refusal to relinquish control, the difficulty of maintaining privacy, he shifts his ambitions outward. The portable solution emerges as both necessity and inspiration. If the pad cannot be established permanently within the mansion, it can be constructed as a mobile unit capable of traveling to the locations where the desired company is most likely to be found. The construction process itself is reported rather than fully staged, yet the details supplied are sufficient to generate substantial comedy. The primary structure is obtained from the city dump. Bricks are gathered for a fireplace that cannot be completed because Jethro is unwilling to wait for mortar to set. An icebox is installed and stocked with the only cuisine he can secure without Granny's detection: goat's milk and turnip juice. Etchings are planned for the walls. A dual record stereo system is assembled with the ambitious intention of surrounding a guest with romantic music from two directions simultaneously. Soft lights, a table for candlelight supper, and a large sofa are envisioned as finishing touches. The cumulative effect is a structure that aspires to every prescription of the magazines while fulfilling none of them in any recognizable form. The gap is absolute, and that gap is the primary source of the humor. The stereo experiments provide some of the sequence's most concentrated verbal and conceptual comedy. Jethro explains the theory with solemn precision. The goal is to have romantic music coming at your girl from two different directions so that when the sounds meet in the middle, that girl is a goner. The demonstration, performed with Jed as a reluctant stand-in, collapses into mechanical failure and mutual incomprehension. Jed's dry assessment, "I must have had a wow in my woofers," and his subsequent advice to abandon the project are met with Jethro's undiminished confidence. The young man remains certain that once the technical difficulties are resolved and a suitable guest is isolated within the space, the prescribed effect will occur. The series allows this certainty to stand without corrective intervention, trusting the audience to recognize both the absurdity of the theory and the sincerity of the belief. The quest for kitty cats supplies the narrative momentum that carries the portable pad into the wider world of Beverly Hills nightlife. Jethro's plan is straightforward and geographically ambitious. He will park outside the kitty cat club and intercept attractive women as they leave. Should the supply of company prove insufficient, he will proceed to the beach and repeat the process with bathers emerging from the water. The language of kitty cats is absorbed directly from the magazines and deployed without irony or self-consciousness. For Jethro, the term constitutes not a slang designation but a technical category of the international playboy lifestyle. The portable pad is the instrument that will allow him to meet the category on equal terms. The actual encounters that result from this plan are reported in a series of escalating comic disasters. The first attempt produces a physical confrontation in which Jethro is uppercut right through the roof of his own structure. Subsequent efforts at the club and the beach yield similar rejections, mechanical failures, and public embarrassments. The stereo, when finally activated in the presence of potential company, produces a sound that bores right into your brain. The icebox proves difficult to access in the crowded interior. The goat's milk and turnip juice fail to impress. Each failure is met with a temporary regrouping and a renewed determination to adjust the formula. Jethro never questions the underlying program, he simply concludes that the execution requires further refinement. The intervention of Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway introduces a further layer of institutional comedy, recognizing that the young man's romantic disasters threaten to become a public problem and motivated in part by the desire to keep the Clampett nephew in a manageable mood. Drysdale attempts to supply professional assistance in the public form of hired companions. The resulting scene, Jethro attempting to entertain the supplied kitty cats inside the portable pad, while Miss Hathaway looks on with mounting alarm, collapses into further mechanical and social chaos. The stereo, now powered by a connection to the bank itself, produces an unbearable volume. The space proves too small for the assembled company. Jethro's efforts to offer goat's milk and to display his etchings are met with polite but decisive rejection. The sequence ends with the young man once again defeated, the pad damaged, and the prescribed lifestyle further from realization than ever. The deeper resonance of the material lies in its sustained examination of aspirational construction. Jethro does not merely imagine the life of the international playboy, he attempts to build it piece by scavenged piece according to the only blueprints available to him. The portable pad is both a literal structure and a metaphor for the larger project of self-invention. Every element, the incomplete fireplace, the mismatched cuisine, the dual record stereo, the mobile ambitions, represents an earnest effort to translate external prescription into tangible form. The series treats these efforts with complete seriousness on the character's part and complete affectionate amusement on the part of the audience. There is no moment in which Jethro is required to recognize the inadequacy of his materials, or the impossibility of the program. The comedy resides in the persistence of the attempt and the consistent failure of the world to conform to the magazine's promises. In the cultural context of the mid-1960s, the bachelor pad occupied a prominent place in the popular imagination of masculine independence and romantic success. Films, magazines, and advertising had established the image of a carefully appointed private space designed for the entertainment of women and the performance of sophistication. Jethro's version of that image is filtered through the practical constraints of his situation and the particular vocabulary of the swinger publications. The result is a satire of consumer aspiration that remains fundamentally kind, rooted in the recognition that the desire to construct an identity through the assembly of prescribed objects is a deeply human impulse. The portable pad may be ridiculous in every particular, yet the longing that produces it is treated with respect. The performances in the sequence operate with the physical and verbal precision the material demands. Must convey absolute commitment to the evolving project without any leakage of self-awareness, a task he accomplishes by grounding every adjustment and every new plan in the same earnest energy that defines the character. Buddy Ebsen's Jed provides the quiet counterpoint of experience, his observations dry but never cruel. Irene Ryan's Granny remains the off-screen force of potential correction, her headaches and her absences allowing the schemes to proceed while still registering the family's ongoing concern. The supporting appearances of Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway further situate Jethro's private fantasy within the larger social and institutional world of the series, reminding the audience that the young man's disasters are never entirely private. As the sequence draws toward its conclusion, the portable Playboy parlor stands as both achievement and ruin. It has been built, stocked, transported, and repeatedly damaged. It has been the site of romantic aspiration and romantic rejection. It has absorbed Jethro's wages, his labor, and his undiminished confidence in the program supplied by the magazines. The quest for kitty cats has produced sore chins, broken roofs, and public embarrassment, yet it has not produced the prescribed results. In the careful accumulation of these failures, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its gift for extracting substantial and sustained comedy from the collision between popular fantasy and everyday limitation. The enduring appeal of the material lies in its refusal to resolve the aspiration too quickly or too punitively. Jethro is not required to abandon the international Playboy program, nor is he forced into a sudden recognition of its impossibility. The series simply allows the project to unfold according to its own internal logic, following each new adjustment and each new disaster with affectionate precision. In an era of television that sometimes preferred more rapid deflation of its characters' illusions, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained a different commitment to the comedy of persistence, the humor of the elaborate structure built from inadequate materials, and the quiet affirmation that the family will remain the constant that contains every new scheme. The portable Playboy parlor may never achieve the sophistication the magazines prescribe. Yet in the earnestness of its construction and the consistency of its failure, it becomes one of the series' most memorable and human monuments to the gap between desire and reality. The cumulative romantic disasters that attend Jethro Bodine's campaign to realize the international Playboy ideal form one of the most sustained and physically inventive comic arcs in the composite Season 4 material. Having constructed his portable Playboy parlor from scavenged materials and stocked it according to the limited provisions he can secure, Jethro now carries the structure into the public spaces of Beverly Hills nightlife and leisure-seeking. The kitty cats the magazines have taught him to regard as both goal and validation. The results are uniformly catastrophic physical ejection, mechanical failure, public embarrassment, and a final aquatic humiliation that leaves the young man floating toward Catalina in a structure that has become, however briefly, a yacht. Throughout these escalating failures, Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway intervene with the anxious competence of institutional managers determined to contain a problem that threatens to reflect poorly upon the bank and by extension upon the Clampett fortune. The sequence that unfolds is a masterclass in the comedy of persistent aspiration meeting absolute resistance, tempered by the series' characteristic refusal to abandon its central character to mere ridicule. The first major confrontation occurs at the Kitty Cat Club, where Jethro positions the portable pad with the confident expectation that attractive women will recognize its sophistication and accept the invitation to enter. The actual response is swift and physical. One of the intended guests delivers an uppercut that sends Jethro right through the roof of his own structure. The damage is both literal and symbolic. The carefully assembled pad, already compromised by incomplete construction and inadequate materials, is further reduced by the very encounter it was designed to facilitate. Jethro's subsequent report of the incident delivered to Mr. Drysdale, with a mixture of injury and residual pride, catalogues the losses: a sore chin, a lump on the head, a busted roof, and furniture messed up. The magazines, he concludes, have got me into nothing but trouble. Yet even in the moment of apparent recognition, the young man does not abandon the program. He simply recalculates the practical requirements for its next iteration. Mr. Drysdale's response to the crisis is characteristically dual. On the one hand, he is alarmed by the public spectacle and by the potential for further embarrassment. On the other, he remains motivated by the desire to keep the nephew of his most important depositors in a manageable emotional state. The solution he devises is both pragmatic and comic. He will supply professional companions, hired kitty cats, who can be relied upon to treat Jethro with the attention the magazines have promised. The arrangement is negotiated with Miss Hathaway in a scene that underscores the banker's willingness to deploy institutional resources in the service of personal containment. Miss Hathaway's reluctance is palpable, yet her professional loyalty prevails. The resulting encounter inside the portable pad, staged in proximity to the bank itself, collapses into further chaos. The stereo, now powered by a direct connection to the bank's electrical system, produces a volume that bores right into your brain. The interior space proves inadequate for the assembled company. Jethro's offers of goat's milk and his invitations to examine etchings or listen to music are met with polite but decisive rejection. The sequence ends with the young man once again defeated, the pad further damaged, and the prescribed romantic success as distant as ever. The subsequent decision to try the beach represents both a geographical expansion of the quest and a further lowering of the practical threshold for success. If the structured environment of the Kitty Cat Club has rejected him, perhaps the more informal setting of the shoreline will prove receptive. The portable pad is transported once more and Jethro resumes the work of invitation. The encounters that follow are marked by the same combination of earnest preparation and absolute failure. One potential companion is deterred by the smoke from the incomplete fireplace. Another is offered the choice of goat's milk or home-squeezed turnip juice served on the rocks. Jethro's attempt to create atmosphere through the recitation of multiplication tables intended as a display of intellectual sophistication produces only bewilderment. The final aquatic disaster occurs when water enters the structure, transforming the portable pad into an unintended vessel. Jethro's delighted declaration, "My dog, I got me a yacht. This is what you call class," is met with the companion's decisive exit and the observation that the situation is what you call nuts. The pad, now adrift, carries the young man toward Catalina in a final image of aspirational isolation. The deeper resonance of these accumulating disasters lies in the consistency of Jethro's response. Each failure is met not with abandonment of the International Playboy program but with a renewed determination to adjust its execution. The roof can be repaired, the stereo can be reconnected. The beach can replace the club. The yacht can replace the stationary pad. At no point does the young man question the authority of the magazines or the fundamental desirability of the prescribed lifestyle. The series treats this persistence with complete seriousness on the character's part and complete affectionate amusement on the part of the audience. There is no moment of forced recognition or sudden maturity. The comedy resides in the unbroken continuity of the aspiration and the unbroken continuity of its frustration. Mr. Drysdale and Miss Hathaway's ongoing management of the crisis provides a parallel institutional comedy that situates Jethro's private disasters within the larger social world of the series. Drysdale's willingness to hire companions to supply parking fees and to tolerate the presence of the portable pad in proximity to the bank reflects both his anxiety about the Clampett connection and his characteristic preference for practical containment over deeper intervention. Miss Hathaway's participation, marked by visible reluctance and professional endurance, underscores the personal cost of her loyalty to the banker, and by extension to the family whose fortune underwrites the bank's stability. The scenes in which the two attempt to redirect Jethro's energies, urging him away from home supplying alternative company, managing the public fallout, reveal the extent to which the young man's romantic campaign has become a problem of institutional as well as personal dimensions. In the cultural context of the mid-1960s, the figure of the unsuccessful aspirant to Playboy sophistication carried particular comic potential. Popular culture had established the image of the successful bachelor as a master of consumer goods, romantic technique and carefully controlled environments. Jethro's version of that image, filtered through inadequate resources and absolute sincerity, collides with the actual social world at every point of contact. The Kitty Cat Club does not recognize the portable pad as a mark of distinction. The beach does not supply the prescribed companions. The hired professionals do not transform the encounter into the success the magazines have promised. The series does not debunk the Playboy ideal so much as it localizes and humanizes its failure, placing it in the hands of a character whose longing remains intact even as every practical attempt collapses. The performances in the sequence operate with the physical and verbal precision the escalating disasters demand. Max Baer Jr. must convey the full arc of preparation, hope, confrontation, injury, recalculation and renewed hope without any leakage of self-awareness that would undercut the character's fundamental consistency. He accomplishes this by grounding every new plan in the same earnest energy that has defined Jethro across the series. Raymond Bailey's Mr. Drysdale supplies the anxious counterpoint of institutional responsibility, his interventions motivated by calculation rather than cruelty. Nancy Culp's Miss Hathaway provides the weary professionalism of a woman required to manage problems she did not create and cannot fully resolve. The occasional presence of Jed and Granny, even when off-screen, continues to register as the familial constant that will ultimately absorb the consequences of the campaign. As the sequence draws toward its conclusion, the portable Playboy parlor has been damaged, partially sunk and publicly discredited. The quest for kitty cats has produced physical injury, mechanical failure and social rejection at every turn. The bank has expended resources in the effort to contain the fallout. Yet Jethro's commitment to the International Playboy program remains, if not entirely intact, then at least unbroken by any fundamental doubt. In the careful accumulation of these disasters and the institutional responses they provoke, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its gift for sustained comic escalation rooted in character rather than in arbitrary invention. The enduring appeal of the material lies in its refusal to resolve the aspiration through punishment or sudden enlightenment. Jethro is not required to recognize the impossibility of the program, nor is he forced into a humiliating public recantation. The series simply allows the disasters to unfold according to their own internal logic, following each new failure with the same affectionate attention it has brought to each new plan. In an era of television that sometimes preferred more rapid or more punitive deflation of its characters' illusions, the Beverly Hillbillies maintained a different and equally valid commitment to the comedy of persistence, the humor of the elaborate campaign conducted with inadequate means, and the quiet affirmation that the family and its institutional allies will remain the constants that contain every new scheme. The romantic disasters at the Kitty Cat Club, the beach, and beyond may have left the portable pad in ruins and the young man temporarily adrift, yet in the unbroken sincerity of the aspiration that produced them, the sequence finds both its laughter and its lasting human truth. The transition from Jethro's portable romantic disasters to the quieter, more observational comedy of the birdwatching expedition marks a deliberate and refreshing shift in the composite Season 4 narrative. Having followed the young man's escalating failures in the pursuit of international Playboy status, the series now turns its attention to Miss Jane Hathaway's long-deferred personal interest and to the unexpected revelation of Ellie Mae Clampitt's natural affinity for the wild creatures of the California landscape. The arrival of Professor P. Caspar Biddle, the induction of Ellie Mae into the ranks of the Biddle birdwatchers, and the family's characteristic misreadings of the entire enterprise generate a sustained sequence of gentle humor rooted in the collision between scientific enthusiasm, institutional obligation, and the Clampitts' unforced intimacy with the natural world. Miss Jane's struggle to claim her promised day off provides the sequence with its initial institutional comedy. Having worked weekends, holidays and nights in the service of Mr. Drysdale's demands, she has secured a rare interval of personal time in order to participate in a birdwatching expedition led by the founder of the organization to which she belongs. The uniform of the Fiddle birdwatchers, Beverly Hills Nest, of which she is flockmaster, becomes both a visual marker of her private identity and a source of immediate conflict when Drysdale requires her presence for the signing of the Clampitts' income tax returns. The banker's refusal to honor the day off is absolute and characteristic. "I don't give days off." Miss Jane's defense of her commitment, her duty and privilege to meet Professor Biddle, upon his arrival, the use of carrier pigeons for communication. The precise timing of the rendezvous at the foot of the big saguaro wash is delivered with the quiet intensity of a woman whose personal life has been repeatedly subordinated to professional obligation. The compromise that follows, in which Drysdale agrees to collect the professor on the way to the Clampitts, is less a concession than a practical redirection of Miss Jane's energies toward the banker's immediate needs. Professor P. Caspar Biddle himself enters the narrative as a figure of specialized enthusiasm and mild eccentricity. Portrayed with the precise, slightly otherworldly quality that Wally Cox brought to such roles, the professor is introduced through his dedication to the preservation of the California condor and his claim to have lived in prolonged and intimate contact with the species. His photographs taken with a tripwire, and his description of the condor's nest as just a rocky ledge or sheltered spot high among the rocks, establish both his scientific credentials and the slight remove from ordinary human society that such dedication implies. The request for a donation from Mr. Clampett is met with Drysdale's immediate and anxious deflection, a reminder that every external claim upon the Clampett fortune must be filtered through the banker's protective calculations. The actual encounter between the birdwatchers and the Clampett household produces the sequence's most sustained and delightful comedy. Ellie Mae's greeting of Miss Jane is characteristically warm and unself-conscious. When the purpose of the visit is explained, what you're looking for birds, her response is immediate and practical. Well shucks, you don't need them things. I'll just whistle you one down so she can see it up close. The offer is not boastful. It is simply the statement of a young woman who has always lived in easy relation to the creatures around her. The subsequent demonstration, her whistling call, the arrival of the blue jay she addresses as Henry, and her calm interaction with the bird produces genuine astonishment in the visiting ornithologists. Professor Biddle's formal identification of the species as Cyanocita stellari is met with Ellie Mae's plain correction, well, this is a blue jay. Miss Jane's further taxonomic refinement, he's a member of the Corvidae family, receives the same unforced response. No ma'am, he's a Clampett. The exchange is a perfect encapsulation of the series' central comic method. Scientific classification and familial familiarity occupy the same space without either being required to yield. The bird is both Cyanocita stellari and Henry, both a member of the Corvidae and a Clampett. The dual naming is allowed to stand as a small, complete joke about the different ways of knowing the world. The decision to induct Ellie Mae into the Biddle Birdwatchers follows with the swift logic of genuine enthusiasm. Professor Biddle recognizes in her an amazing rapport with wild creatures and declares the previous omission of her membership a definite oversight. The formal induction, the raising of the right hand, the repeating of words, the promise of a uniform in time for the day's expedition is conducted with the solemnity appropriate to the occasion and the mild absurdity inherent in applying organizational procedure to a young woman whose connection to birds requires no procedure at all. Ellie Mae's acceptance is characteristically simple, I reckon so. The moment affirms both her openness to new experience and the series' consistent portrayal of her as a figure of natural rather than acquired accomplishment. Granny's parallel concern with Ellie Mae's marital prospects supplies a domestic counterpoint to the ornithological activity. Her inquiry about the fella Ellie ain't got and her suggestion that Jed put it to him about finding a suitable match reintroduce the long-running theme of the family's desire to see the young woman settled. The mention of Riprock as a previous and still viable candidate establishes the romantic subplot that will intertwine with the bird-watching narrative in subsequent scenes. The contrast between Ellie Mae's easy success with wild birds and her family's anxiety about her success with eligible men is left implicit, yet it registers as one of the sequence's quiet structural ironies. The deeper resonance of the material lies in its celebration of unforced competence. Ellie Mae's ability to call and handle birds is not presented as a learned skill or a performed specialty, it is simply part of who she is. The scientific apparatus of the visiting birdwatchers, the binoculars, the taxonomic language, the organizational structure of the Beverly Hills nest is treated with respect, yet it is also gently juxtaposed with a form of knowledge that requires none of those tools. The series does not dismiss the professor's expertise or Miss Jane's dedication. It simply places beside them a young woman for whom the same creatures are neighbors rather than subjects of study. The resulting comedy is free of condescension toward either side. The audience is invited to enjoy the mismatch of vocabularies and methods while still recognizing the genuine enthusiasm that animates every participant. In the cultural context of the mid-1960s, birdwatching occupied a particular niche in the American recreational landscape associated with patience, specialized knowledge, and a certain gentle eccentricity. The decision to place Miss Jane within this subculture adds a layer of private identity to a character more often defined by her professional subordination to Mr. Drysdale, her willingness to defend the day off to wear the uniform, and to prioritize the expedition reflects a dimension of selfhood that the banker's demands continually threaten to erase. The series allows this dimension its full expression even as it subjects the entire enterprise to the comic pressures of Clampett hospitality and Clampett common sense. The performances in the sequence operate with the delicate precision the material requires. Nancy Culp's Miss Jane must convey both the frustration of the deferred personal day and the genuine excitement of the ornithological pursuit, a dual demand she meets with the controlled intensity that defines the character. The portrayal of Professor Biddle requires a careful balance of scientific authority and mild social remove, a balance that allows the character to function as both expert and comic catalyst. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae remains the embodiment of unself-conscious natural grace, her interactions with the birds and with the visitors marked by the same open simplicity that has defined the character across the series. Buddy Ebsen's Jed and Irene Ryan's Granny provide the domestic frame, their observations grounding the specialized enthusiasm of the visitors in the everyday realities of the household. As the sequence draws toward its conclusion, the essential elements of the birdwatching narrative have been established. Miss Jane has secured, however imperfectly, her participation in the expedition. Professor Biddle has been introduced and his conservation concerns noted. Ellie Mae has demonstrated her gift and accepted induction into the organization. The family has registered the activity with its characteristic mixture of hospitality and mild incomprehension. The stage is set for the further intertwining of the ornithological and romantic plots and for the additional misunderstandings that will arise when the Clampetts attempt to interpret the professor's work with condors through the only framework available to them. In the careful construction of this introductory movement, the Beverly Hillbillies once again demonstrates its gift for shifting tone and focus without sacrificing the underlying consistency of character and worldview. The enduring appeal of the material lies in its generous attention to forms of knowledge and forms of enthusiasm that exist outside the primary economic and romantic concerns of the series. Birdwatching is not required to serve a larger plot function beyond its own interest. It is allowed to exist as a genuine human activity pursued with sincerity by characters the audience has come to care about. Ellie Mae's gift is not treated as a comic gimmick but as a natural extension of her established affinity for animals. The result is a sequence that expands the emotional and observational range of the composite episodes while remaining firmly rooted in the series' central commitments to kindness, clarity, and the comedy of mismatched but well-intentioned perspectives. The yellow-bellied sapsucker may or may not be located. The California condor may or may not receive the Clampetts' support. Yet the morning's encounters have already affirmed something more lasting: the possibility of connection across different ways of knowing the living world and the quiet pleasure of watching that connection unfold in the presence of characters who each in their own manner care deeply about what they find.